Man, I feel naked without my microphone and my earplugs in, or my ear. I'm just using the. I feel weird. Feels weird.
It doesn't sound too bad.
Naomi,
Hey.
you got the best office so far.
No.
I know, right? It's getting a little cold. I missed the golden hour light, but
Cold. Be nice to be cold.
it hasn't been very cold here. It's just the elevation that cools us off at night. So,
well, it got cold enough where I had to start a fire, or I had to cut some wood, get it stacked on the porch, and we had a fire. Like, it was right on that edge where you didn't need a fire, but if you didn't build one, but it got real cold, frosted a couple mornings, and then now it's hot as hell. Drive me crazy.
same here. We had one frost. That was it.
I know.
I
So
think it was 91 degrees here today.
Yeah, it was. I bet you it was 80. I don't know what it was here today, but it was warm. Really warm. How hot is it down there, Jared? Tucson.
94, I think. Something like that.
That's not hot though. That feels good when you're.
When it's 94, I can hunt till almost noon, so I'll take that.
What's your lows in the morning?
Shoot, they're pretty low. Closer you get to the mountains, and the canyons, I mean, they're getting down to 55, 50, 47.
That's good.
But when we had that cold snap this weekend, I went out on Sunday, and it was 38.
Wow.
I mean, the high was only 84, but
they let all the water out of the river for the irrigation, so
yeah,
I got to cross the river this morning. It was a little sketchy, but I got across it.
There you go. I just got done watching the video you posted.
Which one was that?
Oh, the when you went packing with Mike.
Oh, yeah, the pack string. Boy, I tell you what, that's nothing but work. Jeez.
You only had 5. You only had 4, right?
I had five pack mules and a saddle mule.
But that rubber, I liked his idea on that.
Inner tube
stuff. Yeah, that's genius there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd never heard of it before, but I've never really had trouble with my panniers coming off like that. But I imagine if you're running empty, like we were going up into those hills,
bouncing.
You could sure brush them off.
Make Naomi pick bigger and the rest of you guys smaller.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea.
There, how about that?
Let's go back to the other one. There you go.
Yeah.
At least make Chris's picture smaller.
Is that guy saying we're ugly, or I don't know?
I think that was the gist of it.
I think that was the gist of it. You know, every time we get Naomi on here, no one wants to listen to us.
It's true.
But we better get her going, because
I guess this is my 3rd time, huh?
Yeah. She's gonna lose light and she's gonna get cold here in a few.
Yeah, I am actually. It's going away. I see some sunset.
We brought her on to kind of give us an update, man. We've been causing trouble about that 127. Jared causes the trouble more than I do, is all I'm gonna say. Have you been on that? And we're probably gonna give him some reps right now, but have you been on that mountain lion sighting?
Yeah, she's been on that.
And it's just for mountain lion sightings. And somebody posted vote yes on 127, and it just blew up.
So not just somebody, that was Samantha Bruger. So she's behind all of this. Mm-hmm. So that's the one and only post I've been on there, and I just couldn't help myself because it was Sam, and I'm like, all right, let's go. And I was joking with the houndsman out here. I was like, man, I should let's do a live debate with her. Like, let's go. Like, I can put her and I up and see if she backs down or if she'll do it. And she's already been invited to debate some people live, and she always chickens out. So I wouldn't expect it to go anywhere, but I think it'd be interesting. I think I could take her on if she does accept, and just putting it out there that we did that. but you know, who knows?
They're always tough behind, when they're on like a little, on a little forum or a page. But I put a thing on there and said, hey, if anybody wants to come on and debate, just message me. We'll be nice. I promise we'll be good, but
they don't want to do that. No. No. Yeah, but it's we hate to say that we're optimistic because then for some reason your support kind of dwindles. But I mean, our foot is on the gas and we're not taking it off the gas. Where Cody Lostro and I are going down to Old Town Fort Collins tomorrow. And one of our members, Seth, has been on Pearl Street in Boulder. And so we're doing the grassroots thing, hitting the streets and doing everything that we can do. We had the event at the Capitol. That went well, but we wished there were more people there at the same time. There's like 300 to 400. And when you think how many hunters are in the state, I mean, I couldn't help but be like, what the hell? Like where is everybody?
Yeah.
But we're trying. I'm exhausted. Every day I wake up, I'm like, is it November 6th yet? Just so busy, but we're chugging along and we need all the help, all the support. If you know someone in Colorado, call them and ask them how they are doing, because it's been tough.
Yeah.
Are they running a lot of commercials and stuff, the people that are pushing this?
The opponents? Yeah, they are. They're outspending us. If you look at the numbers, they're spending twice what Colorado's Wildlife Deserves Better had spent. Now we have CRWM as well. If that dog barking is bugging you guys or cutting me out,
if the dog barking bothered me, I would be in a lot of trouble.
I mean, you said something. I thought, oh, there probably was a dog barking.
Yeah, I know, right? These are a loud one. He doesn't shut up. But I mean, if you look at the numbers, we're being outspent. And all of this money just comes from out of state animal extremists, and it's sad to say, and it's sad to see. Bunch of Wayne Pacelli followers, and since he resigned from the Humane Society, he's started his own animal wellness action, is what it's called. And another, big money puller, and there's big money behind this, and people that are involved are getting big money, and it's hard to compete with, but we are competing.
Do you have a feel for how it might go yet, or I
don't want to
say. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay silent on that one. No, it's cool. So there's been multiple county commissioners come out, even in Democratic counties that are Democrat counties that are Democrats themselves, and against this measure. The latest one was Gunnison County. They had 3 commissioners, all Democrats, come out in opposition of this. So that's been good. The Democratic Party itself for Colorado, or I keep saying that, Democrat Party itself for Colorado has come out in a neutral position on this, which is, I think, very good. So there's some political stuff that's, you can't help but be like, all right. But, you never want to, our foot has to stay on the gas. We have to keep with the support. We need the support for the last 2 weeks here.
Well, I'm more optimistic now than I was in the beginning because I have seen a lot of support. And it's all about the algorithm. I don't go to those sites, so we don't see the response from the other side. So I don't even know what commercials. And really, we should all be catfishing and we can see exactly what they're saying, and that's what we're kind of doing on Mountain. I think didn't someone get on there, Jared, and it's like, there's nothing about 127 on this, like, because it's mountain lion sightings. So
so if every argument they throw at you, you can literally go on Colorado Management's page and go to their little 50-second videos and just be like, that's false, and just click on that video and share it to that argument, and they will not have a reply for it.
Absolutely. And that's what we need to keep doing. There's some people, of course, that you're never going to change their mind. But I just told this to a guy the other day. You know, I was having that argument back and forth with Samantha Miller there, and he posted his dead lion right underneath it. And I'm like, dang it, just wait until this is over. I messaged him. I was like, pull that off. Wait until this discussion is over. You can put it back on. But I'm having an active conversation that everybody's going to come look at. Yeah. And they're going to read through our arguments. And this is looking so good right now. Unfortunately, it got a little like convoluted there. But in the beginning, I was like taking screenshots because I'm like, she is totally going to delete this. And I thought she did at one point, but it must have been just my mountain internet. But
well, I just read on here 40 million being spent on Proposition 127. No, that's an old one. That's an old one. Sorry.
Okay. I was going to say,
Jeez,
that is public information. The opposition has spent like at least 2.5 million. No, it's going up. It's like between 2.3 and 2.5 million. Colorado's Wildlife Deserves Better has spent like 1.3. So
I see here that I'm scrolling through YouTube here, and the news there, the local news has had quite a few things on it. Are they staying pretty neutral? Are they biased in any way?
It's hard to tell, even for me, because I run so many opinion pieces. So you'll see from the same news source, both ways, very close together.
They'll cover the opposition then.
Oh yeah. Good. Oh yeah, they'll run the opposition for sure. But we did have, I think it was Vail newspaper, after they talked to Cody Lostro, they came and told their readers that they were taking an opposition to this as well. So that was cool. A big win. Yeah, and that's Vail. That's one of the ski bum. Yeah. So they're different. When you see things like that, you're like, oh man, keep going. That's the only thing you can think, right? Keep going.
That's the stuff that keeps you optimistic when you see these counties coming out saying, man, this is BS. You know, we're not supporting this. So,
well, I messaged Aaron Snyder on Instagram. I think it was Sunday night. He's got like 115,000 followers. And I kind of called him out on it because he lives in Colorado, I think, still. And I was like, hey, dude, what the shit? Like, your Kafaru casts, you know, your backpacks, all this. And I'm like, I don't see nothing. And he's like, I usually put it on my stories. And he's like, I'll make a post. And he made a post. And it was frustrating on how many hunters were mad at him for making that post saying no. Like, he was sending me some stuff. And he's like, dude, I already got 6 emails saying I'm a piece of shit.
What? Wow. Yeah. See, I didn't think in any way that would happen. We've had a lot of good support. People like Go Hunt, and then the Hunt Stand, and even Cabela's and Bass Pro came out in opposition. And I mean, everyone you would hope that did. So I didn't know they were getting negative feedback on that. That's kind of, especially someone like Kafaru. That's kind of crazy. Yeah,
like he loses ratings on his Kafaru cast when he talks about 127, and he gets hate.
Maybe because it's so pounded in by now that people are like, I know what's going on. You know, the people that are going to listen.
He is super mad at the Colorado wildlife people, right? Not at the workers, obviously, just the hunters and anglers. He's just like, pull your heads out of your asses. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that. I understand. I understand that. I am too, you know, being down at the Capitol. And there wasn't any big game season going on. And
oh, wow.
And no, there was no excuse. There's no excuse for people not to be there. Yeah. And there were people that were there, and there were quite a few dogs there, and I'm thankful for that, but there should have been 3 times as many.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest complaint anywhere, any state, any commission meeting, is you get 2 or 3, maybe 5. If it's horrible, worst case scenario, 10, but not 100. There should be 100 there.
We were talking about it last night.
Last night we had our first A.W.D.A meeting, the Arizona Working Dog Alliance, and we had a secret weapon come in. He texted me right before, like literally we were going on at 6:30, and about, I think it's 5:30, I get a text from a guy that I've been trying to kind of get hold of. He said his number and everything, and we got him on there. That guy's a genie. He's a Dan Gates. I don't know if he can talk,
man,
but he knows
those are big words.
He knows his shit. Like he was throwing stuff out there, and we're just all like, what?
He already, like,
and he's part of a lot of organizations, and we're gonna talk to him more. And he was just at a meeting with some Game and Fish, and he was representing a hounds. They got a little hounds thing. There's only 2 members of, but they needed something to represent. So he was kind of excited that we were starting something, because the more groups, the better. I thought they were going to be kind of mad, like, oh, you guys, how.
Yeah.
The competition. We didn't want the competition, but he was happy about it, and he was willing to help. So that's going to be real good.
What blew my mind is he knew who was living in Arizona. Remember that little thing he said? I don't know if I can say it.
You don't want her. Naomi said she can be the only one on here.
Oh my God.
She knows I'm mad at her. That's all I'm here for. Well, you want to get on top? Makes sense. I don't have a chair. So, but he was. I was really excited. Oh, what's that?
About those 2 people that are living in Arizona.
Me knew.
Someone hiding out in Arizona or what?
Yeah. So back in 2018, there was one HSUS person in Arizona for something. And as of right now, he's like, there's already 2. And I was like, wow, that's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
What do you guys got going on with that ballot initiative that you guys got? The representation.
Oh, the 134 or one.
It's getting pushed through.
124.
Yeah, 134.
134. Right.
134.
What do you think about that?
It's blown up on the hunting page.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, if we had it here in Colorado,
it evens it up.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here talking about 127, I don't think.
Nope. Yeah, exactly.
Because that kind of reads like, even if there's 1 million votes, it don't matter. Like one piece can shut it down.
Yep.
They have to have 10% signatures from each county. Or 10%, whatever it was.
That's going to be hard to do.
Yeah. Especially if you do a vote to ban hunting in Cholo. Or
all down south. You got Tucson, but you got everything to the east of Tucson,
County.
Everything to the west of Tucson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Maricopa County and Pima County.
They're not going to run everything.
It's the only ones that destroy everything. Kind of like Denver. And is Denver your only? What else is your other big county?
Boulder.
That's what I thought.
It's the whole I-25, like the Front Range corridor. So unfortunately now, like Fort Collins down to Colorado Springs, a lot of Pueblo. That's where the big cities are. And then Boulder. Yeah, Boulder is a bubble surrounded by reality, they used to say. But anymore, Denver's just as bad, So. And actually, Seth was reporting from Boulder. He had a couple vote no signs out, and he was educating people there on the street. And he was actually pretty impressed. People were coming up to him and pretty much didn't know which way they were going to vote yet, and were kind of waiting for someone because they're confused. They're like, I don't know what this means. I don't know what it does. And us being there on Pearl Street in Boulder actually got a lot of vote no's from Boulder people. It's a cool story. I'll let him, reach out to him if you want to hear it. But like I said, Cody and I are going down to Fort Collins to hopefully do the same thing tomorrow.
Trying to send Benny a link again. So I tried to send it to him across as a download or something. Anyways, I'm done.
No.
We'll get
But-
Benny on here and give us his 2 cents. So what else is going to happen from this point on until November? Because you only got a couple weeks.
Yeah, we just gotta go door knocking pretty much. And here in Colorado, it's mostly, we're not all mail-in ballot, but we're mostly mail-in ballot. People can go vote in person if they choose, but pretty much no one does anymore. So I don't know. It's a lot of people have already voted. In-person voting is open now. Early voting, and they can have already sent in their ballots. So it's just talking to those people that might not, their ballots sitting on their counter. And that's a big thing too, is Colorado people need to not let their ballot just waste away on their counter this year. There's a lot of people out there, outdoorsmen, that just don't take the time to even send it back in the mail. And we need to be voting. We need to be out there and voting.
A lot of those people who do the mail-in ballots, they already have their name. They already have their mind made up.
It's mostly mail-in. I wouldn't say that. I think because, like I said, mostly mail-in in Colorado, so they're not gonna. I don't think it makes a big difference here because you can wait. Your ballot can be postmarked at a certain date, right? Or you can go and take it to a drop-off location and it still counts. So the people who have already voted, yeah, they probably, obviously they made up their mind, but I think there's a lot of people out there who haven't yet.
How many people read those books? How many people
know.
actually read those books that come with your? I just got mine the other day. I thought it was a phone book, but and I just breezed through the 134 and made sure it's in there. But how many people actually sit down and read every bit of them?
I think a lot. I think a lot of them do. You hear it talked about a lot. Blue book, the blue book, the blue book. So
yeah.
Yeah, and if you read it, I don't think it sounds half bad for our side, but that's reading it through our eyes. So yeah. There's a lot of good facts in there. Like, they state that lynx are already federally protected and are not hunted. They state that mountain lions and bobcats are both listed as a species of least concern. And they state that Colorado Parks and Wildlife are currently managing this wildlife. And they state that if we lose mountain lions as a big game animal, there will be no funding resource for big game depredations by mountain lions, and that's a huge thing. So they state a lot of accurate information that would be really bad for Colorado. So I hope people read it.
Yeah.
And their side is just like, it's ethically wrong. It's immoral. Trappers and houndsmen are awful people. That's pretty much what their side says in the blue book.
Oh man, even on I had a lady literally tell me, it's all you do is run your dogs and kill stuff. And I said, no, I'm a private investigator too, but it looks like you have some skeletons in your closet as well.
There's been the threats and stuff are just disgusting. We had the president of UHC, a lady commented on one of his comments and talked about his grandma's fence, like, oh, that's a nice sign your grandma has up on her this colored fence. You're like, wow, like, that's pretty low of you.
Like, is that trying to threaten? Is that a threat? Like, I know where you
pretty
live?
much just saying, yeah, it was this old crazy cat lady saying, like, I know where your grandma lives. I watch her. We're like, wow, that's tense, but whatever.
Kind of the wrong.
That's a good one.
It's the wrong. It's kind of the wrong group of people you want to threaten, especially with their grandmother.
Right?
Okay.
I got so many death threats when I got my lion. It's ridiculous, and that's kind of what I thought. I was like, I have a 1/4 mile long driveway. with 5 hounds outside, and you don't want to know how many, defense things placed everywhere. Like, I don't think I don't think you
So
quite know who you're
they're not in
threatening.
a locked. They're not in a locked place. Yeah.
My dogs
I
are
mean-
gonna let me know when you when you hit your brake lights a quarter mile away. So, good luck.
We don't.
But
I was talking about that the other day. I said, my kids are going to grow up, and they're going to be like, "Damn!" In the old days, we don't take the keys out of our cars. Our guns are in our cars, but I tell you what, if you can get even into our cars and in my yard, and then our door we're never locked, like,
yep.
I hear people where they said, "Yeah, I knocked on your door and you weren't home." My family, my cousin came over yesterday and he just walked in the house. Like, we just walked in the house. If you're naked, you just better cover up, or like we walked into each other's house.
Uh-huh.
Cody Lynn announces when she comes in.
Yeah, I know.
I'm here, guys.
I'm on the porch and I like stomp.
Tries to stomp, kick some pans around.
That's the way to do it.
Shut
Yeah,
it.
just
Yeah.
announce yourself a little loud. Slam the door.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah.
But that's the that's where we live. I don't know what my kids are going to be in 20 years. I stay at my brother's house. He lives in a kind of a cold, like a gated community sort of. Man, you don't lock your truck, they'll get your stuff. They walk around and they'll check door handle. It's locked, and I panic. It's no easy chore to take all my guns and stuff that I care about out of my truck. I have a lot of them.
I know.
So I have to haul them all in.
Same here. But you look at Denver, and I think they're like #1 in the nation for car theft, and it's like, geez. So crazy the diversity of people that you can have within a couple hours from each other, for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, we lock our cars up here. We're pretty close to Mexico, so
Yeah.
I've never had any trouble, but I don't want to take any chances either.
And your house is a little away from your dogs, though. I got 2 pit bulls, a husky Rottweiler looking thing, and I got my cur dog, my little blue-eyed cur dog. She has the one blue eye, or Catahoula. She's kind of the crazy one,
Well, she's
Damn,
got
I got
blue eye.
neighbor comes in a quarter mile away and they bark. They run to the gate, and the gate's way over there, a couple hundred yards. But yeah, I don't know how I could live any other way. Locking my car would be.
My hounds are on the opposite end of the property.
Yeah.
But it butts up to BLM land right there, so it's pretty handy.
So for someone to threaten somebody like in this, clique of people, probably not smart.
No.
No.
In Nevada, there was an anti-hunting lady that harassed a bear biologist, like on a hiking trail, and ran her, chased her down the road in a vehicle, everything. I think she got, I don't know how much time, but she did a little bit of time.
Good.
I think Braley Mason, I don't know if he's on here. I think he just posted, he was down there scouting for deer. Someone had like pots and pans on a trailer and driving them down the roads. Crazy. People shooting. And I was like, man, I probably throw some nails in that road or something. Or man, I don't know.
Side-by-sides, nothing phases deer next to roads anymore because of the side-by-sides. I mean.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
We had, we got a little side-by-side club out here, and I was out taking the bird dog out Sunday evening and just seeing if we could point some quail. And there must have been 150 side-by-sides took off up the mountain. Oh, this one whole, they're like a biker gang. They're just this little side-by-side club.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose light on you guys.
What is it?
I said I'm gonna lose light on you guys here pretty quick.
You're real bright on our side.
Yeah, it's just gonna go away fast. The sun sank, but
we got what we needed out of you.
Yep.
All right. Well, do all the plugs for me. Sportsmen's Alliance and United Houndsmen of of course, CRWM and Colorado's wildlife deserves better. We all really need your help for this fight and to continue. So thank
And
you.
they're still
Thank you
taking
for having
money,
me on.
right? They're
What's
still
that?
taking donations. They're still taking
Absolutely.
donations. They're
Yep,
still
and at this
spending
point,
a ton of money.
yeah, they're still spending a ton of money and they need to. And they're going to zero that account out because Colorado's wildlife deserves better doesn't exist after November 5th. So they're going to use that money for this fight. So
Do you know what they're doing after the fight? Whether you win or lose, are they? Because I know Dan had kind of an idea of helping the next state. Is he going to still do it, or?
Coloradans responsible wildlife management, whatever that I butchered that, but they have some ideas for Colorado state legislature next year, and I think there's some similar stuff floating around, like the ballot initiative process, the thing that you guys are doing in Arizona right now. We can push that through the legislature. There's ideas like that floating around, yes. So they're definitely going to use their money. They're not just going to run them hide in a hole with it. They're going to use it to help sportsmen.
Good deal.
Cool.
Well, Naomi, we appreciate your time.
Thank you guys. Good to see y'all.
All right.
Yeah.
There you have it. What do you
I'm
think?
excited.
You like a little bit more positive than we thought. If you'd asked me this 6 months ago, I'd be like, man, they're going to lose it.
Well, talking to some higher, like Cliff Gray's his name. He was a big time outfitter in Colorado. The wolf introduction barely passed in Colorado. And it wasn't getting near the amount of attention that this is. So when he said that, I kind of, you kind of like, well, maybe then.
They snuck it in kind of up there, though, didn't they?
Yeah, but it still barely passed from what he said. So, I mean, that's positive. And now with the wolves doing what they did the first month that they were introduced,
What'd they do?
Well, so no one was going to give anyone these wolves, Colorado, any wolves, but Oregon did, and they gave them problem wolves that were killing livestock in Eastern Oregon.
Yeah, that's why they got rid of them.
Yeah, so they shipped them to Colorado. What's the first thing those things killed when they showed up in Colorado?
It wasn't deer and elk.
Yeah, I think 2 of them ended up getting shot in Wyoming.
It's crazy.
So
and they do it again.
With that fiasco that happened right away with the wolf introduction and the cows getting killed, I mean, it might be nice.
Is Rowdy working?
Oh, I think so. I talked to him Sunday or Saturday.
Send him a link just in case. I hadn't heard from him. Figured he's working.
Yeah.
Hey, I think we take up I suggest we take up a collection and we get in your bus, Chris, and we all go to Colorado and we look up this Colin Brosnan. He's an antagonist. He's always agitating everybody. And we just throttle the shit out of him.
Where'd you find him, Benny?
On that Facebook group. I don't know why. Robert Chase invited me to join. Yeah, the sightings. Mountain lion sightings.
That's a pretty good site, man. It's when they comment, there's hundreds of comments.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I've been going through that today, and it's like that one guy though. He reminds me of Dennis over there in Big Game Houndsman. Somebody just needs maybe 10 or 12. We're nothing but hounders. We just go over there to the cafe and jump on him in the booth, and when we leave, he looks like a puddle of coffee.
Yeah,
we could get Brett involved. All we got to do is threaten Brett. Say that guy threatened you, Brett, and he'd go with us.
That guy called you a yelly belly liar.
Mhm. I can't believe how much that site's blown up since we brought it up a week ago.
No, it got crazy.
It got wild in a matter of days.
And the admin don't give a shit.
Nope.
Mm.
No,
They
that
just
admin, he'll let you post whatever you want. There's guys doing trophy shots with lions on that page, you know, supporting hunting with lions, you know. Then you got Colorado people, or not Colorado, California people bitching about lions on that page. They're just like, we're overrun. This isn't cool anymore.
That's the most post. They say, where you at, California? Where you at, California? You know?
Yep.
And Gene, I'll send $500 pennies idea. He will too.
Hey, let's fire up that bus. Everybody's got to meet in Sholo.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I got to get my
Brett's
bus
doing
too.
a lot of. Brett's watching TV or something.
No,
because
I'm on this site, this mountain lion site.
He's reading comments. They'll suck you in, man. And I just try to be
good.
real.
It's not good.
I try to be real polite and just use bigger words. You know?
There was an anti guy on there, and you know he's lying. You know, he's like, I'm a hunter and I'm for 127 and yes, and this and that. He's like, you can't actually eat a mountain lion. And I put a picture of mountain lion in a crock pot. My wife made lion carnitas. And I just put that picture and I said, it's not the animal's fault that you suck at cooking.
Gene Forrest, he'll send 1,000 if he can go. Come on.
Yeah. Yep.
Chris doesn't have his mule train to get in the bus yet, so there's still room.
No,
Yeah.
I got to get my bus up here. Gotta
Where
get it
is
up here. Down in Maricopa.
Maricopa?
Yeah, just gotta get up here. Gotta get a temporary tag and all but up.
A moving permit or something?
Yeah, it's a 3-day permit. So yeah. Make sure I got a leaky brake too. It's air brake. Coming through the canyon.
Might not be good.
I've had word. Message you again tomorrow. Oh. He's coming. He wants to come hunt in Arizona. I said, come on over.
Who's that?
Told them all that was open. Blackbeard Kennels.
Oh.
I said, come on over. So,
I'll be right back.
Benny, what have you been doing?
I've been sitting in an office all day looking at a computer screen trying to get legal for MShaw.
Oh, fixing all your MShaw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good old MShaw.
Yeah, there's a guy that was running the Carlsbad pit and he got in a wreck in the company pickup and they discovered that he'd been drinking, so they fired him. Well, I don't know. That happened before I went to work over there. So he looked me up the other day. Hey, there's the guy. He looked me up the other day and asked if I'm friends with the owner of the company, and he says, when you see Jim, would you give him my number? So yeah, because I guess they're gonna send me back down there to Carlsbad, and I just hate that. The
Yes.
MShaw guys down there in Carlsbad in the office have got it out for me because I started out being too nice to them and they pushed the envelope too far. So I started sticking it in their eye. Now they're mad. So I got to do whatever I can not to go back to Carlsbad.
Stay away from there. Jeremy?
Yes.
Use butchering.
Yep. Finally got the cutting up part done. Said I'd take a break.
Good deal. Well, my topic tonight is we keep talking about poor lions and hunters, but what no one really talks about is the dogs. Who's protecting the dogs? What do we do with the dogs? Like, you're putting dogs out of where it's like they're closing down the pipeline,
Well, but that's part of the problem, Chris. Without the dogs, we wouldn't do what we do. And And those dogs are just vicious killers.
This Samantha Miller is one of the
Oh yeah,
problems here.
yeah. That's what I think. That same person Naomi's talking about.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I've
No,
had to
she.
watch mine the last 2 nights because every time I walk out there, I smell like processed deer meat.
You know, but no one. You know, what are you going to do with the dog? Some people got 10 dogs. Just leave them on a chain. You know,
Rehome them.
I guess so. Let them get fat on a couch. Jeremy, is it rare to see a bear in Louisiana?
Not where I'm at.
You're talking about an animal or Jeremy?
I can pretty much go out and find one just about every day. Or
You guys
multiple.
get to kill them over there, or no?
They just had their draw. They issued 10 tags statewide. Well, in one region, which it's the whole northeast corner of the state, and they did a draw, and of course I didn't get drawn, but anyway, so in December we'll have the first bear hunt since '84.
Well, surely your coon hounds might. I think I've asked you this before. Don't they trash every now and then?
Oh yeah, yeah. They were trying to find that one in that video I sent you the other day. They just couldn't figure out he was in the grain cart.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
Oh yeah, getting fat. That's true. Come at you with the dogs next. Missouri got close to trouble. A bill was pushed out saying you could not have a certain amount of intact males or females. Well, they just tighten that noose, don't they?
Well, here in the county that I live in, they passed a law, I don't know, 20 years ago or so, maybe longer, where if you had more than a certain number of dogs, you had to get a kennel license. You had to become a licensed kennel and a licensed breeder. And David Heiss was the one that asked me about it, Brett. He said, "So what's your intentions, Benny?" I said, "Shoot whoever the hell comes over here to investigate."
Yeah.
He started laughing. He said, "Well, I don't think I'll shoot them if they come into my house, but I might show them that I still know karate."
SSS.
Yep.
Yep. Now they're gonna
But
keep
that's what
coming.
they've done. That's what they've done in California. You can still bear hunt. You just can't use hounds.
Well, that's what that lady was saying on her page or on some of her comments was they're just trying to outlaw hounds. Say if you want to hunt lions, do it without the unfair advantage of hounds.
Yeah,
If they think it's fair, they need to go hunting with that guy this way and see if it's fair. See who has the advantage.
So hounds are at unfair advantage. So once they get rid of hounds, you can't hunt them no more. Then what they'll go to is shooting them at 1,000 yards. So you can't have a scope on a rifle, you know, or and then when that don't work, they'll say, well, you have to have a primitive hunt. So they'll just keep whittling away.
Yeah, but
pretty soon Benny will be out there with a spear.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I think if they really want to make it challenging for the hunter and say that they're giving the lion a better chance, they should slip something in there that you have to get the lion out of the tree yourself without a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
And, then we'd find out how many hound hunters really have adrenaline.
My brother built me a knife just for that. Just for that. Actually for killing bear, but lion will work.
Well, there used to be a guy on the internet that had a spear that he killed African game too. With that spear, he'd get up in a tree and spear them from above. it can be done. That's how things used to happen.
Well, they were doing it here, right? And that football player did it and had a video, and then all of a sudden spears are illegal.
Well,
He did
spears
the
have always
Bears,
been
though, I think.
illegal in Arizona, because I think that's how come I don't have picture. Well, that's one reason. I didn't get any pictures of the lion that was poked with a spear when I was a youngster. I had pictures of everything except the spear. But when I was in that hole, kicking my feet to suck me out of there, when I threw a loop around that lion's foot, a piggin string, that lion was sick and it was bleeding pretty profusely.
Had a hole in him.
Well, the good thing about California getting rid of dogs on bears is now they got 60,000 damn bears. So they can't they could do a free-for-all like coyotes. And I don't think in 5 years they could kill enough bears.
No.
To bring that population down to being manageable.
Well, no, but for one thing, they don't have as many bear dogs. They're losing. It's just like when they outlawed the traps, or they didn't outlaw traps. PETA got the price of furs real cheap, and so people quit trapping, and you lost a generation and a half of trappers, where people used to trap. That was their Christmas money or their winter spending money. They did it, and dads passed it down to their children, and they lost that. And now there's not that, even where their trapping is legal, they don't have the volume of trappers out there harvesting the furs.
In the 70s, I mean, those coyotes were bringing $75, $80 a pelt for a big white belly. And shoot, what was it, about the end of the 80s? It dropped all the way down to like $10 or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, they made it.
Bobcats in Arizona, those desert cats, used to bring $250.
Bobcats still bring you some money here. I mean, we got, of course, y'all got the same ones, but the ones like Cody has, they're worthless. They're not worth anything.
Yeah, ours aren't worth a lot.
What's that?
Ours aren't worth a whole lot.
They don't have that big white spotted belly, do they?
No. I mean, you get some that do, and you get some with rosettes, but not most of them are just brown cats.
Yeah. They call them swamp. Don't you call them swamp cats or something like that?
I call them bobcats.
Just bobcats.
Yeah.
I know, and those ones Cody has down there, they're pretty small cats. They're not very big.
Yeah, about a 25 pounder is a monster around here.
I think it was the last year that I trapped. I trapped in New Mexico for a couple of months, and then I trapped in Arizona for a little while, and I had all my furs ready to go to the buyer, and I called the buyer up in Mesa, and I lived out by Tolleson, and back then it was an hour and a half drive. We didn't have the freeways in the valley like that, and so I made an appointment. He was going to meet me there, and when I got there, he was gone, and they called him to wherever he went, and he said, "Well, just leave the furs there, and I'll grade them and send you a check." And I said, "No." I had already gone to Craig O'Gorman's trapping school, and Craig O'Gorman in Montana, he was anti-agreeable and anti-government and anti-everything, and so I already learned how to behave. And he says, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to take them home." He said, "Well, you came all that way. Why don't you just leave them here?" I said, "Because I'm not going to give you the opportunity to screw me with my furs." "Well, what will you do with them?" I said, "I got a burn barrel at home. I think I'll just burn them." "What?" And that's damn sure what I did.
I had his book here. What was it called? Footsteps of a Woofer or something like that?
I don't know.
It was his catalog.
O'Gorman Longline Lures.
Well, yeah, but he had a book. It was called
yeah.
I think Footsteps of a Woofer, I think is what it was called. I don't know where it's at. I didn't throw it away. Huh. Yeah, O'Gorman. Didn't he use some tolling dogs too, or trapline dogs quite a bit?
He He's the reason that I wanted decoy dogs.
Yeah,
I
there
had
you go.
I had never ever heard of anything in my life like that. And he had 3 dogs, and we got over there, and he I think he had a siren. He also had a cassette tape with that would go on a PA, but I think he just blew his siren on his pickup,
To
and he
to
sat there and
locate
listened.
them.
Yeah, and some coyotes off in the distance started howling, and he said, "Let's go." And I got to looking around. I said, "Hey, where'd your dogs go?" He said, "Don't worry about it. Be quiet. Come on, let's go. Just follow me and be quiet." And there was 3 draws came into this one point, and we got out on the point of that hillside there and sat down. And I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Shh, just be quiet. Just watch." And pretty soon those 3 dogs came back with 4 coyotes in tow. And the coyotes would lose interest. The dogs would jump on the coyotes. The coyotes would get mad. And they chased the dogs down, and dogs knew exactly where he was. And he shot one of those coyotes, and the other 3 bolted. The dogs took after him. He started yelling with his mouth like a crying dog. "Arr, arr, arr, arr." Those other 3 coyotes turned around and got after those dogs, and they brought him all the way back, and he killed another one. What's it say?
Hoofbeats of a woofer.
Yeah, there you go.
The O'Gorman style of coyote trapping.
And I just almost sprang a wood right there. I thought, man, that's the best way to kill a damn coyote. And I said, so what the hell? And so I even went all the way to O'Gorman's to buy a pup. I couldn't get him to sell me a trained dog. And the gal, I think her name's Nancy, that's worked there forever. She said, well, it'd be expensive, Beanie. I said, what would it cost? She said, oh, I don't think you couldn't get a trained dog for less than $5,000. I said, tell him I'll give him $7,000. And he wouldn't sell me a trained dog. But he didn't, all these decoy guys that I see anymore, they call the coyotes in, and then the dogs see them and they go chouse them. But his dogs went and hunted the coyotes up and brought them back to you.
Yeah, it works best during breeding season. Is when they're more protective.
I shot 2 coyotes yesterday.
I seen that.
Blasted them both.
But all these people that are concerned about their, all this wildlife and everything, and I think it's really hilarious that the coyotes are impacting people in town as hard as they are. They're all crying about that for their little Fifi dog, and their cats are missing, and there's no rabbits or quail around, but they still call them little fuzzy coyotes. It's fun to see the coyotes unless they're packing my dog up.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just like,
Well, they
everyone wants
victimize
to
them.
save a mountain lion until it's your cows, your goats, your dog.
There's a woman that lives over at Klondike, Arizona. Her name's Kathy.
Was she the yellow lab breeder?
I doubt it. She doesn't
Okay.
seem like Larry Hendricks was hired by the state of Arizona Game and Fish to conduct a lion study in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the one catching the lions. And then they always had somebody like Kathy in camp with him. And she was the representative, and she would tranquilize the lions. They'd go get them, measure them, weigh them, blah, 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 put a collar on them and turn them loose. And Kathy was young, and she was like a lot of young people in the game department. And she was just anti-hunting and anti-rancher. And Larry always had a litter of pups too late in the year. So they had a litter of pups in camp, and every night a pup would disappear. And Kathy was getting pretty distraught about those pups. And one evening, just before it got dark, a great horned owl flew over there and landed in that tree. And Larry says, well, Kathy, I'll bet that's where our pups are going. Well, what do you mean? He says, well, I think that owl's come for another snack. And she grabbed a gun and she says, I'm going to blast that son of a bitch. And now, Kathy, you can't do that. You work for the game department. That's illegal. Yeah, but that son of a bitch is eating our puppies. He could go catch a rabbit or something. And Larry just looked at her and said, well, Kathy, don't you think those ranchers feel the same way about their calves and those lions? And he said that was the start of her downfall. And she couldn't stay with the game department much longer. And she married a rancher over in Klondike. He passed away, and she has the ranch, and she bought another ranch, and Larry gave her a bunch of lion dogs, and she still hunts lions today. So sometimes it just takes one of those deals.
Yep. I heard a story. I don't know if this lady was in Arizona or Utah, New Mexico, somewhere in the Southwest. She was big into the purebred yellow labs. And she had a lion coming in and taking her dogs. And she was known for being an anti-hunting lady. And she couldn't get any of the houndsmen to come help her. And it's not a hooved animal, so you couldn't get the state to help you.
Everybody's got to make their own choices and live with them, right?
Yep.
Lay in the bed you make.
Brett's
Yep.
not going to go to bed tonight. He's going to be reading those posts on there.
No, I got
Man.
away. I started to get mad, so I got away from it.
That's generally the best answer, Brett.
I'd write something that wouldn't do anybody any good.
I can't do what Jared does.
I just like making them look stupid. They say something, and then you just point out, you're like, that's a lie. You know,
I'm too hot-headed.
Colorado's done a really good thing with their 50-second commercials. And pretty much all you have to do is play that 50-second commercial and it said everything you just commented is a bullshit lie.
It's crazy what they're saying. It's just, and it's not just like the houndsman busting them out. There's a lot of people on there saying, man, you guys are stupid.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, they say they've been doing this study for lions now for 50 years, this and that, you know. They've been doing this study on lions and people interacting and all that shit. And we need to stop it now. And then, you know, Colorado had an answer to it. They're like, here's 125 years of science. There was 200 mountain lions. Now there's 4,500. There was 300 elk. Now there's 30,000 elk, and 40 elk, or 40,000 elk, and now there's 400,000 elk.
They deserve to live and go get married.
Yeah.
There's not in Gunnison, Colorado. I can report this.
Yeah.
You mean elk?
Yes. There's bighorn sheep and moose. That's it. Just buy an elk tag and go to Gunnison. You won't see one.
Buy a moose tag and you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you'll see elk.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was on that same Facebook page, somebody made a comment about the Florida panther was the single most endangered mammal in the nation. And so I read down through there and the stupidity, and I finally responded and called one person out and said, I don't remember how I started it, but I told him that the Florida panther has been shored up in population from lions that were caught in Texas and transported and released in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to see if anybody responds to that, because I know firsthand that happened. The McBrides did it.
Well, the same thing happened to the bears here. I mean, in the 80s, it was something to see a bear. And then they brought in a bunch of bears from Wisconsin, and Arkansas actually got a season. Heck, I don't remember how long ago, but they said those aren't true Louisiana black bears. They're bred with northern bears, and now they're what they are now.
Yep.
What is that you have right there, Chris?
That's
Stray,
a welder.
That's a welder. Look, Dandy's going to be what? Welder. He's already been trying to ask welding questions. Look.
He must be sitting by the fire again.
It's hot. Huh?
I just ran here. So.
It is. Yeah, it's hot. Oh, so. Anyways, yeah, you can stay on that site all day. I wish we could hire somebody just to get on that site and post facts all day long. Just keep them people busy.
I don't think that's the
delete 'em.
best way to handle it. I'm old and I remember how we used to handle things, and I've always thought that came up with the shortest, quickest fix.
Yeah. Show up at their house.
Yeah, show up at their house or at the Circle K or at the coffee shop. It didn't matter. And you don't even have to talk about it. If you just knock them straight in the damn nose, and then when they fall down, just jump on them and go. Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of ways. Let's just say you can make your point.
And them wolves, they just keep shoving them wolves down everybody's throat.
Yeah, I'm surprised they hadn't released some red wolves here.
A new wolf pack was just transplanted in my deer hunting area of California. The deer herd is already showing a decline. I have only seen one yearling doe all year. Coyotes are bad enough on wolves or on deer.
Yeah. Now at 6, so now you have coyotes, mountain lions, 64,000 bears, and now a wolf pack to California's deer herd.
Well, just wait. They're not done. They're going to put the grizzlies out. They're going to put the grizzlies out.
They've already talked about it.
Yeah, that's coming.
And it's not anything that they're saying, we changed our mind.
Well, it's the feds. They're saying we're going to do it. You got to get on board. I mean, what is that going to do to the black bear population? They eat them black bears.
Would they still be huntable?
Can't hunt them.
I think it would take a while for them to get established enough to decimate the population in California.
Maybe they need to drop some over there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. They could have a free-for-all for a year and not kill enough bears to make a dent.
Yeah.
The world needs more Cajuns. You ain't got to worry about banning nothing in Cajun country.
Right.
They will eat you.
Well,
they need to take about 10,000 of those bears and drop them off over in Louisiana.
Could you imagine?
We got enough.
A country full of redneck hillbillies and Cajuns and coon asses. Oh my gosh.
Our governor, they were on us about the LSU mascot, and he told them to kick rocks. He's a pretty cool governor.
Yeah.
He's a little short guy, too, so he's kind of got Benny's mentality.
There you go.
Two-finger mentality. 8 wolf packs.
I mean, put it this way. He has an annual alligator hunt. $5,000 a spot. And it's packed every year.
That'd be pretty cool to see.
That'd be pretty cool to go get.
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
The pack is going to win around Minden and Carson City this year. We'll see how hard they devastate the herds. That's when they really tear stuff up, right? Winter?
Well, it depends on the winter. And, if the Sierras get snow, like a good amount of snow like they did 2 years ago, you'll have a pretty good impact then, because them elk or them deer are going to be way down low. They'll be pushed down into Nevada. But if there's no winter, then they don't concentrate. They stay dispersed. Everything depends on snowfall for that migration.
You see this,
I agree
Jeremy?
with you, Kenny. Nobody wants to act like a man anymore. I don't think
Just
you can
in case
act like a
an
man.
alligator, if an alligator ever shows up in the Pecos River, I'm on him. I got a
22 long rifle. I didn't say that.
You know, it's just there's too many berry pickers now.
Yeah, dingleberries.
Is that from a 1022?
Yes,
Ruger 1022?
it is.
I got 2 of them. Well, I got one. My
3.
grandson has one.
Yeah, I have 3 of them.
So
This,
got-
Jeremy. This replaces that.
I got
Yeah.
2 of the.
This is,
I
I've
got
got
2 of
about 4
those
of those.
magazines too.
I've got
this is a
about 4
metal
of
one.
them.
This one's metal.
Mine's
all
plastic.
steel.
Mine are plastic.
Yeah, this one is from the 70s, and it's from Italy. And in Italy, they knew how to fix up the 1022.
I got 2 that are magazines that size, but they're plastic. They're not metal.
not all of
No,
us
no,
can
they're-
be cool like Benny.
I'm not as old as you, Benny, and
It
I've never been.
replaces this.
And I've never been to Italy. Well, I know. I got the same thing too.
Here's my
Hold
rope
on.
for my
This
alligator
is show
hook.
and tell.
Hey, be careful. The undercovers are watching, I guarantee.
Oh yeah.
I don't
So-
Cody
care.
Lynn, chime in. What do you got to say for yourself, Cody Lynn?
I'm just observing.
She's working.
Oh, I
She's
hate that.
working.
But at your age, you should thrive.
Right.
There you go.
Ah,
375.
I had a 375 lever action. I traded it for a 4570 breech load.
That's an H&H Magnum.
let's see here.
Let me see what I got.
No, I got a
Now we're getting it.
pistol right there.
Brett, pull out your 22 short.
It's in my buggy.
When I went to a little swap meet,
A 378 Weatherby.
Well, you got what? You guys are making up for something, I think.
We are. We're making up for in case a damn rhinoceros
This
gets
is
on.
artillery.
no, this was
That's in case I leave my spear behind.
This is
Was a
so
black
when they come
powder.
to get my boat in accident.
it was a black powder, and someone put a 44 special cylinder in it. So now it shoots regular bullets,
Wow.
That's wild.
which means, but it still don't have like serial number black. It's a black powder, so it's not considered a firearms really. So, yeah,
Hold on,
got it
Benny,
for
that's one of them.
150
You know evil,
bucks.
see no evil.
Yeah. Drop gun. Get that out of your pocket.
In 1975, I had heard about zip guns made out of big ballpoint pens, and so I thought, well, hell, I can probably do that. So I got me a ballpoint Bic, and I gutted it, and I wrapped it up with duct tape and electric tape so that it wouldn't blow the plastic into my hands, and held a 22 in there, and I rigged up a rubber band and a paper clip and pulled it back on the way to school and whacked it in the dirt. It worked. And I thought, I probably better not take that to school. I probably better leave that over here on the dirt road and pick it up on the way home.
Chip and hammer and a vise works pretty good.
Yeah, but you can't, it's too heavy to carry in your pants.
Yeah.
Sammy took our governors into hunting dogs, and he signed a contract with us. The state of Kentucky would never ban hound hunting.
I'm moving to Kentucky.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, and that's where if you get a Cajun and a coon ass over there with those hillbillies, things will start to happen.
Well, this stuff should have been done a long time ago, not when there's a scare, you know. Now when they come in and they almost get something, the antis, and then they just keep at it. They let it die down for a few years. Everybody goes their own way. But that money should still be going somewhere for the 2-3 years they're absent. And when they come back, you have them. What'd she say? $1.2 million they've spent, and 2.4 or $2.2 million the opposite the antis have spent.
Yep.
They love spending that money. They get that money easier.
Well, it ain't theirs.
Oh yeah, it comes from all over the country.
Well,
It comes from all over the world.
but if you stop and consider the change that society has made, you
Oh,
know,
it's terrible.
they've got, yeah, and look how many people they've herded up into the concrete jungle.
Yep.
They've gotten away from the agriculture in the rural America, and they're trying to push even harder to get rid of it altogether. And so when they get everybody in the city, then they can have nothing but time to be a bleeding heart.
Well, you know, those people in the cities, they think it's really cool to see an animal because they never see them, and they think the animals are going extinct because all they see is concrete.
And all they've ever experienced with an animal is a zoo and what they watch on TV.
So what happens when Idaho votes hound hunting in as a right and they can't take it away is once everybody starts losing it, Colorado, anywhere else, where are they going to go?
I'm moving to Idaho too.
And then you got a ton of houndsmen over there, and then they start making these rules again because they got too many, you know, and that's it. It just gets crowded. Just like California, all them people who didn't like California came over to Arizona or New Mexico or Texas and
Nevada.
You know?
You know, they're trying to make a difference in Texas too, and Texas, the mountain lion's still classified as a varmint. It's not even regulated, but there's
Well,
people over there that's starting to cause a fuss.
you can't do canned lion hunts anymore in Nevada or in Texas.
Why not?
They just made it illegal this year.
How will they know?
Did they vote that in, or is that just up for?
I thought that went through. Went through the same as trapping. The trap, you got to check the trap 24 hours now and not 72 or whatever for lion snares or something.
Well, I don't disagree with that one because I mean that's the way ours has been since I can remember. You know, you had to check your traps every day. You know, and that way, if you get somebody's dog, you know, you can actually let it out if it's not dead. But
but in West Texas, there ain't no stray dogs running around in West Texas.
I mean, it's open country.
You know, if you got a stray dog caught in a trap in West Texas, that's not somebody's dog.
No, it's somebody dumped it out. But
yeah, you know, because Nevada, my buddies that trap bobcats in Nevada, you know, he'll put 30,000 miles on his rig checking it, setting traps and checking in a winter. I mean, that's all he does. Pours concrete all summer, and then come November, he's not pouring anymore. He's trapping.
Which my trap line wasn't that big, but I put 2,000 miles on mine on my Ranger, not my truck, in 2 trapping seasons, and I only took off 2 weeks to trap each year. So.
Yeah. So I mean, and those in Nevada, it's a 72-hour check. So he'll start at one mountain range and go north and south down it, cross the valley and go north and south down that mountain range and go to another spot so he doesn't overtrap it.
I think it depends on where you are and how you're trapping. And for the most part, I think you could do what you want if you're not right there around town.
Yep.
Probably so, yeah.
Okay. All right. Love you.
I think if Colorado passes that, man, that's going to give them a big morale to come to Arizona or Nevada.
Oh yeah, it'll travel.
everybody's saying, Arizona, but we've kind of gave them a hard time both times. And now that this 134 is coming in, if that passes, that's going to make it tough. So they are, and New Mexico, look at New Mexico. You don't like, who's protecting New Mexico over there? Those guys need to get their shit together too.
It depends on the current governor. Right now, our governor's focus has always been to get rid of the gas and oil. The wildlife isn't her focus. We have had governors that the wildlife was their focus. And if you look at how things changed back and forth in New Mexico, it's gone up and down, up and down, up and down. Right now, it's really good for the hunter. Excuse me, but that's not the way it's going to stay. It just depends on who's in office. Because this is the only state that's more liberal than this is California and Washington.
Well, yeah, I mean, our big cities, I mean, especially Santa Fe, but I always say the same thing is, our northern population are those old blue dog Democrats. They're not real liberal.
It's like the ones that supported Bruce King.
Yeah, exactly. And they all, they're hunters and everything else. They're not the liberal panty waste that come out of California.
Well, and it's just everywhere. I got a cousin that lives in Washington, and he told me that I had no idea that Washington outlawed the use of natural gas. What the hell? But our governor wants to do the same thing. And at one time, the southeast corner of New Mexico produced the most natural gas anywhere in the world. And you put that into perspective, just this little corner of the state, the entire world, we produced more natural gas than anywhere. That's slacking off because they're hell bent on getting rid of the oil and gas industry, and so they're making it difficult, so people are leaving. They're not drilling more wells, or but no, that's exactly right.
Where's he from? Where are you from, Anderson?
He's from New Mexico.
Yes,
He's in New Mexico.
Our governor.
She does some weird stuff too. Like trying to get rid of the guns over. Keep your thumb down, Jeremy.
Now it's working, Jeremy.
I did.
Oh, did it do that?
You just got to back
in the screen.
You got to back your thumb off a ways. When it sees it, it looks like a leg, as big as your thumbs are.
We hope that's your thumb.
You're right. I watched a debate the other day between Ted Cruz and whoever's person's running against him, and the other guy was just lying. Ted was making him mad. You can find it funny, he says, and so Ted just kept rolling him over with the facts. But there's enough Californians that moved to Texas, just like they've been everywhere else. And for whatever reason, the people that don't like the way California is are staying in California. And the people that are moving to Arizona, Colorado, Texas, wherever else they're going, I think Montana, they're taking the California politics and beliefs with them, and they're implementing them there.
I think that's how they're trying to get their agendas out.
Absolutely. Spread the poison.
And how many people are going to be an outlaw like they say? Oh, they get rid of this, I'm an outlaw. There ain't going to be 2% of those people that are going to actually do anything besides Benny.
I don't know, man. There's some dang good lion dogs coming out of California still.
Oh, I bet.
That is true. Same thing in Florida. They moved here because they didn't like it where they were and voting the same as they did.
Blue, no matter who.
That's reservation theory. The Navajos, they tell them. People who vote Republican, they keep that a big secret.
Yeah.
I know people. I knew a guy said, man, I don't know if I can vote for Trump. If they find out, burn my house down.
Oh, man. No more checks. No more casino checks. You know?
They were throwing a fit that Elon Musk was offering $1 million checks, whoever voted Republican. Everyone's getting mad, but they do the same thing, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Elon Musk, man, he's backing him good too, ain't he?
Well, Elon's son went and did a sex change and went super woke not too long ago. So Elon's just, he's full on. I'm taking the wokeness out.
What, you think Cody was a
spend his-
girl?
Oh.
Maybe I'll bleep that one out.
But he, his son went through the puberty blockers and all that stuff. So he came out publicly and said he will end wokeness.
Yeah. Wow. It all bleeds down everywhere. You know, everybody says, what does it have to do with me? What does the lions have to do with me? What do the dogs have? But it just big circles once they get rid of the dogs. You know, the best way to get rid of dogs is outlaw the whole thing. I think it's too hard just to outlaw the dogs. So they say, oh, let's just like California, we're not killing lions no more. Oh, if you can't kill lions, you can't do nothing with anything, you know?
Where was the guy from that killed that lion, that went to Africa and killed that lion? They called him
Michigan.
Cecil.
Michigan.
Minnesota. Cecil?
Yeah,
Killed the Cecil?
Minnesota.
The dentist?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's from Minnesota.
Look at the ridicule. Look at the ridicule he had to endure.
Do you know what that caused in Africa? They culled after his hunt and the whole entire Africa hunting bans and everything started happening, and the bad, like everything, lion hunting in Africa is canned and it's bad, blah, blah, blah. They helicoptered and killed over 140 lions after that because no one was hunting them. And they just stacked them like cardboard.
Well, they can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and instead of the tribes making a bunch of money, now they're not making any. Yep.
The lions and the tigers, when they get a man killer in the deal, who in their apartment sitting there in their 48th floor little patio deal does that affect? You know,
Nobody.
well, I'm not going to go over there. I can throw my agenda around. It doesn't matter to me. And that's what we're talking. That's what all this stuff is. When they outlawed the trapping in Arizona, it didn't have anything to do with the people that it affected, shoving wolves down everybody's throat. That's not taking any meat off the people's plates in the city.
Tim has his
all the time.
Tim has his morals backwards right there at 2 and 3.
I agree.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Dogs should be second.
My morals go my Lord, my wife, my dogs. Man, you're supposed to. Maybe mine are backwards.
Dogs are second, Chris. Mine's in there listening.
Watch him get hit in the back of the head here in a minute.
I'm in the corner, so I can see her coming.
Oh, and he even gave a thumbs
up.
I got that on recording. It's just gonna. It's pretty brave to go out, to go after just no lions. Let's not kill lions, but
Well, you think that's bad, Chris?
It worked.
Wait till they come after the coons and the coon hounds. I mean, they already, trash pandas. They're so cute and playful. Look at all the TikTok and Instagram videos of them. But who's talking about distemper killing them every 2 years because they don't control themselves?
Yep.
Hey, Benny, Danny's cheating on you. Cody Lynn, what type of welding do you like most?
Here, how's this? Tag Cody Lynn, you're it.
Oh, he got some more questions.
Reverse Uno card. Like you.
Reverse Uno card. You. What type of hood? Do you even wear a hood?
This one.
That. She closes her eye. If you watch this video we just made, when it was, you see us closing our eyes.
Just look through the eyelids.
Yeah. Old Dandy's trying. He's trying to get somebody.
I think the big thing on how they're going to do stuff is they're going to come at, like what Pima County has, 7 dogs per household down here. And that's how it's going to start. And then it's going to be no one needs 7 dogs. You only need 2 dogs. You only need 3 dogs per household. And that's how everything's going to get phased out. Because the average person only has 1 or 2 dogs.
My hounds never came in the house, so mine doesn't count as a household.
That's right.
My
wife just went to the property to go feed mine.
Rick says, I didn't know the West was this messed up. I don't think it's messed up. I think they're trying to mess it up. And I think they get more resistance. But, I mean, what do you really think would happen if they went after coon competitions? Those coon guys, they're coming after them sooner or later when they can't get the hound guys. They went after coyote competitions.
And got them in Arizona.
There's big money.
Yeah, they outlawed coyote competitions here too. They still go on. You just can't advertise.
Well, they don't call them a competition.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
When are they going to humanize quail and ducks and all of that?
Well, I posted a thing the other day, said I'm against pest control. Why are we killing all these little poor spots? We're in their land. They were here first. Yeah. If we're going to give up mountain lion hunting, why don't you guys give up pest control? It's illegal to spray your house or use any kind of trap to kill spiders.
Everyone thinks it's okay until it affects them.
A little kitty old mouse is just trying to get in for the winter.
Yeah.
And you've got extra crackers that you don't eat. What the heck?
It's an unfair weapon right there against flies.
Brett, you look like that old lady selling tamales at the local corner with your fly swatter.
Maybe we need to start a welding show just for Dandy, go start a welding show.
Yeah, start your own.
We're going to come on and ask you about dogs. What kind of collar you use? Do you use what kind of foothill? Pad hill or those people need a Bible, period.
I used to make my own foot dope.
She's trying to get my Bible off me. She didn't believe I had a Bible. It's all full of notes and everything. Everybody thinks I'm a heathen, but I still read the Bible.
I know I'm a heathen, and I got one right here.
That's just so you can protect yourself from your first wife.
Oh no, as long as she's throwing something and I don't move, I'm safe. What do you mean, hey?
New Mexico, they went after youth squirrel hunting competition sponsored by New Mexico Fish and Game, and New Mexico Fish and Game folded. It's kind of sad that because they are a state agency, you know what I mean? They're state funded, all that. They can't come out and say, go F yourself. And that's the problem. So that's why all these organizations have to start so we can go and say, go F yourself, because after it all goes to whatever, I was just told this last night, right, Jared?
Yeah.
The commission can comment, but the Game and Fish cannot.
Yep.
So when you put on that uniform, it's actually a uniform of sheep.
Yes.
Well, you got rules.
You no longer have an opinion.
Yeah.
You have an opinion until they say don't have an opinion. Until that time comes, don't.
See, this is where I get confused. I mean, we pay state biologists to manage wildlife. A ballot box initiative like this comes. And then the biologists cannot say anything that they've learned, studied, anything. That's bullshit.
They need to outsource it though. They need to subcontract it, because then they're not an employee of the state. They're
That's what the
subcontracted.
that's what the antis did.
I know they subcontracted the butterfly.
Yeah, the butterfly retard. I got an argument with that gal, and she's all, well, this PhD biologist says there's no.
This is a true story.
Yeah, there's no evidence showing that hound hunting has anything to do with population control and helping the deer herds out. And I'm like, where are you finding this from? And she did the PhD biologist, this and guy. I did a 2-second Google search on him. He worked at a butterfly pavilion in Colorado.
He knows a lot about lions.
Yeah.
Lions.
You gotta be kidding me.
Butterflies. It's the same.
He's not even a large carnivore, but since he has PhD and biologist behind his first two names, you know, it's a big deal.
All they care about is money.
Yep.
You guys, the political deal isn't just California. If you stop and look at how many people have moved into California from everywhere else, the Midwest and the East Coast and all over, the same. I saw the same in Arizona before I left Arizona. It was rare to find another Arizona native, because everybody came in from the Midwest or from New York or from, and that's just been taking place in the West for decades. It's just that they congregate in these states and they make a big splash. And then after that, they move out and go somewhere else because, you know, my brother-in-law's mother lived in a condo, like the 7th floor. And it was just, I don't know, it was a 700 or 800 square foot deal. And it sold, and they didn't clean it up. They didn't paint it. They didn't go through it. They just sold it, and it sold right away for $750,000. Now, just imagine if somewhere down the line you were passed down 10 acres on the edge of town, you know?
Yep.
Well, so you can move anywhere and pay cash and still have 3/4 of the money in your pocket and live high and mighty. So that's where a lot of this influx is coming. And people are leaving California. A lot of it is over the population and all of that, but a lot of it is because they can come out financially ahead.
Yeah.
I'm going the opposite direction, leaving New Mexico and going to Arizona. I'm hoping I can end up with 5 acres, and I've got 340 acres here.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say, Benny. You look at the property values in Arizona, and then you come over here and look. They're like quadruple the amount. Unless it's good hunting land, then it's total opposite, you know. But I mean, now in certain places, unwanted land, unusable land where you can't get water rights or electricity to it, and it's an act of Congress to do that, it's going to cost you $50,000 to drill a well. Well, yeah, you can buy it pretty cheap, and that's if they can even find water on it. So
yeah,
that's how I got my 10 acres. Just dirt cheap, no power, no water. But no one can hear my dogs bark.
I can't hear mine bark. Well, I say that. They're a half mile down the road. But they got their own condo.
Yep.
Their own house.
I've been here 11 years, and I can't hear mine bark where I got them now. But I've been helping that neighbor out. When I was over there, she can hear them real good. Like funnels through there. All her family members are like, yeah, we know about your dogs. I'm like, oh, dang. No one said nothing to me. All these neighbors over on this side, they're all in cedar trees. So it kind of keeps that noise down real good.
Dampens the noise.
Yeah. I don't think it's the Californians as much as it's liberal teachers who are teaching our children. They're liberal.
That's
true
fact
too.
right there.
And that's
True.
when So today I was at the CPA's trying to get that A.W.D.A. or A.W.D.A. going, and she was kind of like, well, what kind of business is it? And I'm like, oh man, I didn't know what to put, but I ended up putting wildlife conservation education is what I put under it. So, but that's what we talked about last night is what we wanted to do with it. And education is like top priority.
Yeah.
The more education you get out there and, let people know exactly what it is. First impressions, instead of seeing it on TikTok where a bear hits every branch or a lion's running through the creek from 1985. How old is that video they were playing, Jared?
So that was made in 1995 and it was filmed
Yeah.
in the PNW, and they used that video to make hound hunting illegal in Oregon and Washington in 96. And it's just, it's what happens, at a tree if things go south. A lion holding onto the branch falls down in the water, starts crawling away, and a guy walks up with a pistol behind it and shoots it in the back and kills it. I mean, the lion knew it was dying for 30 seconds, 10 seconds. I mean, it's way better. How that lion died was still better than starving to death or old age.
That comes from us posting stupid stuff on social media.
Well, that was 1995. So yeah, no one cared back then.
Somebody shared that video.
Oh,
they used it. Get out. They used it in commercials back in 95 to make hound hunting illegal. And what I heard talking to my buddies in Oregon was that was just the antis kind of infiltrated a hound hunter and, lied to him, said it was cool or whatever. And
hey, I tried to expose that knucklehead.
Yep.
Hey, we never have heard from him, have we?
No,
not going to.
He went quiet.
You're not going to, Brett. You're not going to.
Not until they show up at your door to search your place looking for Benny's kittens. But we got them because they're at my house.
Back in 1950.
I was waiting on mine.
Back in 1950, Walt Disney even had books about killing lions called Cougar.
I mean, they are the original people that had, oh shoot.
Hold that book up.
This talks about why we have to manage mountain lions, and it's for kids.
Well, but now you got books in there that tell you can have sex with the same person at 9 years old.
Yeah.
That's for real. That's for real.
They're saying that men can have babies.
Yeah.
And
my God, I'm ready to bust myself.
You look. I seen you, Benny. You look like you might be about 9 months along.
I'm only 4.
Gonna tell you though.
I'm only 4.
When my kid is born, it's gonna be the hairiest little outlaw.
That's a lion attacking sheep, and then there's a guy and dogs running up there with a gun.
That's the book. I've always said I've been kind of preaching lately about what I want to do with A.W.D.A. and I want to take a hound and a hound pup and all that and go to the schools. That's the book you read to the younger class. The older you let them watch the videos, like Lionheart, something to that effect.
There's an old video.
You mentioned this the other night. Disney had the wetback hound. That was the first time Warner and Marvin Glenn were on camera. First time anybody ever heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
That was Disney.
Disney, I know.
Yeah.
Now they're all woke.
Oh,
they had them before you, Brett.
You know what's crazy on the Disney? When you play the Disney Channel, like if you play a video on it, there's little warnings now that say
this is not culturally.
This is not cultural, it's sexual content, or it might reference racism.
This is a different time.
Yeah. Yeah. On Aladdin.
I represent a different time.
But if you watch the old cartoons on Walt Disney, Mickey Mouse used to smoke a cigar and carry a gun, and
Hey, what about Elmer Fudd that they used to shoot each other in the face? He'd stick his fingers in the barrel. How about Woody Woodpecker? Woody Woodpecker, I remember one time, put his mouth in a car, sucked out the gas, and spit it out and started something on fire. I didn't become a pyro because of that.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't stick
did.
my fingers in barrels.
Yep.
Guys,
Oh,
I
it's
gotta
kick-
go.
Yeah,
I
I
gotta
You better.
plug
You
it.
told your wife you were coming an hour ago.
I know.
Not more than
She
40 minutes.
she hasn't texted me or anything.
You're
We're
in
gonna
Well,
trouble.
leave it to all you young guys.
Yeah, I gotta get up. I'm gonna go lion in the morning.
There you go.
Oh, you
That's
mean
going
you're
where
gonna
the trees?
WSMR.
Huh?
Are you going where there's trees and cold weather? Or
No, I was
still in
there
the
this
desert?
morning. I was down on the river this morning. I've got 2 lions down there, but there was nothing went through there.
Son of a gun.
Got to pop some young dogs on some javelina. So it wasn't all for naught.
Yeah.
No, where I'm going, there's no trees.
Darn it.
No trees.
There ain't
But-
many where you live.
Yeah.
Well, you just go about an hour and a half drive, you get into the trees up there. I just haven't been going up there for a long time, but I will.
Hey,
this
maybe
year.
Dandy Florentine is an undercover guy. I think his turn. Why does he want my address? He wants to come find me, find my kittens I'm holding for Benny.
Yeah, he's infiltrated the group.
I think so. I think
Guys-
You
so.
guys have a good evening.
See you later, Brett.
Yeah.
Us old men
Yeah,
got to go
dude.
to bed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now we can
see
talk
ya.
some real talk.
We'll see you
Have
later.
a
Take
good
care.
evening, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm out too. You guys,
See you later, Benny.
Cody Lynn, pick up the slack.
I'm gonna come pick you up, and we're gonna hunt the cheater dust so you can show me how, Benny.
Oh, that's fine.
He'll say, get out there. I'm gonna stay in here.
Get out there.
Tell him
I'll be
that.
here with my pickup idling. This diesel is really cheap compared to frozen toes.
I've got Mr. Buddies. I've got 4 of them, so I can keep you pretty warm.
Now, see, you're getting a little perverted, you woke pig.
No, ain't nothing like that. I just know
All
you
right, you
get
guys
cold
have-
feet.
Have a good evening.
All right.
You too. Later,
See ya.
Benny.
Get down. No, don't let her in.
No.
Get. Who? Oh, anti-juice picture of a Yodi that was bald from age, and the headline read, Hunter skinned the Yodi and turned it loose. The Yodi was standing there away. Yeah. That's what they do, and that's what I've been talking about, right? You got to take their tactics and you got to turn it around.
Yes.
You got to manipulate the situation and make it
Well-
look good for your side.
Just like the sheep herders or the sheep farmers or whatever sheep ranchers, whatever you call them.
Wait a minute. Who said Cody Lynn's gay? And she's just like Cody. Just because she's transgender and used to be a boy, don't mean she's gay. I'll probably get in trouble for that too.
I'm not that down bad.
Yeah. Oh, you just made her mad.
I'm not gay. for my
But-
husband.
She said
No,
she's not gay, by the way. Her girlfriend is. Anyways,
But they post pictures of a gutted sheep with no fur on them anymore, with no wool on them anymore, and it's like you don't gut a sheep to get the wool off of them.
no. If
Mm.
that sheep's gutted, that means it got tore up by something, or they're about to butcher it.
Yep.
They're fixing to
And
eat it.
that probably came off the Navajo res because they butcher a lot of sheep up there. A lot of sheep.
Those boss, they don't butcher any.
Who's that?
The boss people.
Oh, I don't know. I just
Basque.
know there's a lot of sheep up on the
Yeah,
Navajo res.
The Basque do like their lamb chops.
Yeah.
I mean, I've eaten it before. It's pretty good stuff.
There's some, like, if you go into Nevada, there's some amazing Basque restaurants in Nevada. Amazing.
Oh,
They're expensive
trust
as
me.
all get out, but they are expensive and worth every dollar.
Doesn't matter if she's gay or not, as long as she's happy and doesn't think she's entitled. Oh, she thinks she's entitled to every one of my damn guns, my packs, my dogs, my collars. She has my 200 and all the collars.
Oh, and your money, Chris. Don't forget that.
Oh, yeah, I know. When she
I
owes
saw
me
that
money,
in person.
yeah.
Jared, you were there. You saw that in person.
Yep. Yep. Dad, how much?
Mutton stews.
How much do you have on you?
mutton stew is on the menu at Kentucky Fried Chicken in Gallup. That's a fact. That's for real.
Yep.
You know, everybody, like someone said, it's not just California or whatever, but California is the guideline. California outlawed hounds, and now they got 60,000 bears. And that's 60 to 80. Even if you took that number and cut it in half to 40, how many are females? How many are getting bred? How many are twins? What's the survival rate? Even if you killed 10,000 bears this year, that's not even a dent. That's not a dent.
This is how screwed California is on wildlife. They only have 500,000 deer. 500,000. They have over 4,000 mountain lions and 60,000 bears. 20%.
How many mountain lions?
4,000.
There's more than that.
4 to 6,000.
In California?
Yeah, 4 to 6.
I bet you it's more than that.
It probably is. I'm not arguing, but publicly that's what they have it as.
That's a government example of what they have.
Yeah. Well, on average, just say 3,000 lions kill 50 deer a year. We know they kill porcupines and everything else, but just say 3,000 average 50 deer a year. That's 150,000 deer a year gone. Just from mountain lions, 150,000 out of 500,000 deer. So now you're down to 350 deer, 350,000 deer. And now you got to deal with black bears during fawning season. Almost 100,000 black bears during fawning season.
And wolves.
And wolves.
And coyotes. Well, bobcats.
And bobcats.
Take them deer down.
Yeah. I mean, that deer herd is not going to rebound. And it is going to start, we're going to start seeing dramatic deer herds just shrinking down to nothing.
What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen?
They're going to love it to death.
No, what do you think's going to happen when California says, "Shit, we got to let these guys kill these bears and lions with hounds"? And you know, are they going to? Are they going to say, "Here's a tag. You don't have to pay your out of state price"? People will pay the out of state price. I don't know what the out of state price is. What's the out of state price?
Expensive for California, no matter what you're doing. Yes, sir.
People will pay it.
It was like, I think, $1,500 for a deer tag.
Gosh,
people will pay it. I pay it every year to go lion hunting. Not in California, but I hunt everywhere.
They could even have a pursuit season for lion in California and probably push some of them lions just back a little bit.
You know,
at least make them where they're, scared of humans again.
Yeah, but that's not going to help the deer herd out.
The deer herd is screwed regardless.
I mean, there is over 100,000 predators, big game predators, mountain lion and bear probably, in the state of California. That's 25% of the deer herd. Plus, you have coyotes and bobcats on top of that.
And we didn't even include, human predators that actually hunt the deer.
Yep.
Well, they're going to have to quit hitting deer.
Or winter kill. I mean, winter kill's a big issue, too. So they're bleeding so bad right now and not doing anything about it.
Let's see. Idaho has more lion than that, and there's a lot of houndsmen catching lion every year. Tim's thinking they're faking those numbers too. And I guarantee they are.
But you can't argue that point with someone. You have to argue what's with factual on the paper.
Well, that's like state of Louisiana says we have 1,000 bears, which is garbage. We've got way over that. But because they put these barbed wire traps out to catch the bear's hair, plus the ones they catch and collar, and those traps that don't get hair in them, well, there's no bears in this area. Well, yeah, they're not there because they're eating in a cornfield like 2 miles from here. There's 20 of them in this cornfield.
I've seen those videos of you guys combining corn, and all of a sudden there'll be 30 bears running out that last row of corn.
Well, any given day. Now, this year there wasn't a lot of corn. I think there was one cornfield on the property that I hunt, and I've got a video of 2 bears that came out on me and my wife and got within 25 yards. I thought I was going to have to down one of them because he was getting awful anxious. Let's just put it that way. He was popping his gums and all. And we're sitting there on the buggy watching them with a thermal. Matter of fact, turned the light on and finally got him to leave. And I'm like, it's not going to be good for you, cuz. You best move on. But, if it was in the backfield on that same property, and we would have had anywhere from 7 to 10 in that field in the daylight, not counting what's coming out at night. And that's just in 100-acre field.
Yep.
That's like that one that's in that corn crib. I bet you I can drive up there right now. He's sitting in that corn crib asleep. He was asleep the night that I filmed him.
Yeah, it was funny. Hang on. Let me go back to E. Anderson. He made a statement that was funny, but you was talking. I want to interrupt you. So there's at least 500,000 cougars in California. I know. I've been at the bars. Jared did laugh. I seen him laugh. But listen, Jeremy was getting serious, so we had to not cut him off.
But, if you're finding bears and hibernating, there's a lot of them. Just like if someone's seeing lions continuously.
Our bears don't hibernate. It doesn't get cold.
So they go like raccoons, though, don't they? When it's cold, they go to sleep. When it's warm, they come up. No?
Not here.
It's called brumation. So they don't really go into a hibernation. So you just take California.
They may sleep for a week here, but that's about as much as they
Well, they'll go to sleep. They'll come up and they'll eat. They'll go back to sleep. So you talk about California. These are bears that out of 40,000, 60,000, whatever, they're not all going to be brumating at the same time. They're going to be coming out. They'll come out and eat. Then they'll go back to sleep, So they're not in a deep hibernation. They don't just all hide. I've seen bear tracks in January in the snow, you know.
About the only time ours actually brumate or hibernate is when they're having cubs, and they'll lay up for about a week, but they're not going to stay asleep for very long. They're up moving around eating. You're going to see them every day.
Yep.
Now, but they may sleep for 16 hours of that day, but they're going to be up at some point within a 24-hour period.
Yep.
Here, I can't answer for everywhere else, but I've only known of like 3 documented cases where they were actually asleep when they found them.
Yeah.
They were just in that little realm of
dormant state, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They woke up them with a needle,
Mm-hmm.
Put them to sleep for a little while longer so they could mess with them, but But they were doing, den studies is what they were doing, just like they do everywhere else. I walked up on one during February that was on top of a little hill. And when I say hill, it's not like y'all's hill. It's a 10-foot hill. And I had a pack of beagles in a grass field. And I had an old dog and a puppy. I mean, I'm talking about a puppy. He shouldn't even been with us. But I wasn't going to leave him at the house. And we walked up on top of this hill. And I'm like, is that a 55-gallon drum sitting there? Like an oil drum sitting there. So dumb, get a little closer. No, it rolls over, starts popping its gums, and I'm like, this ain't good. All I got's a 16 gauge and number 6s.
Oh boy.
So I back up, and this puppy is, I mean, he thinks he's bigger than the world. I mean, he's probably 2 pounds and like 8 or 9 weeks old. And he's after this bear. And finally, she realizes I'm way bigger than she is, and she runs off. And there's a cub as big as this puppy in this nest. And this puppy is on this cub, and I'm talking about wooling it pretty good. So I beat the puppy off of it and picked him up, throwed him in my vest. And I called the large carnivore biologist. And of course, she was our biggest problem for a long time. But she did a lot of good, but she wasn't going to ever let us hunt them as long as she was here. And luckily for us, she moved on to bigger and better things, and we got somebody from South Dakota that knew what to do. So
Good
we
deal.
got a bear season.
Still no dogs yet, though, right?
No, you can't run them with dogs. You can bait them, and it's a mandatory 24 hours. You got to report, and you can't bait for but 2 weeks before the season. You have to take a class and all this jargon, which they do the same thing for alligators. But yeah, it was overthought. I would put it that way.
Yeah.
That's the only way they can get, like, Nevada got a bear hunt, probably 10 years ago, 11 years ago. You got to take a class for it before you get your tag.
Which I
There's
don't
60,000
disagree
bears
with that.
in California, and there's none bleeding over to Nevada.
There is. That's why we have the Nevada bear hunt now. But for Nevada to get the bear hunt and make it sound like Nevada was managing bears and everything, they had to implement a class. And that class is not a small class. It is a long 2-hour ordeal.
Well, ours is a 4.
Yeah. And
my class was 2 weeks long. I took both of my boys to it and showed them how to kill bear. About it.
Yeah, but that's the only way. Like, if California brings back a lion hunt, they will have a class with a lion in a tree identifying what is
Male
a
and female.
female and a tom.
California?
Yeah.
Man, I think they need to kill everything. Like, they need to go after everything to thin it out. I don't know why they'd be worried about a sow quota or. I mean, they're only killing, 1,100, 1,200 bears a year as it is right now?
Yeah, they shouldn't be, but you got to remember, you're talking to the public.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants to shoot mom.
Well, then don't hunt in the spring. Hunt in the fall.
Yeah. But I was talking for lions.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they don't have classes.
Those only have babies in the summer. That's why Arizona, you can't hunt them for 2 months because that's the only time they have their babies is June and July.
Dumbest thing.
Don't you know this? It is dumb.
Retarded. That's why you go up to Idaho, Nevada, Montana, Utah, you'll see kittens with no ears because they froze them off.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were a winter kitten.
They breed when they breed.
Yep. And that's, for some reason, an independent lion biologist put on by cats still can't fathom that.
This is butterfly guy?
Huh?
This is the butterfly guy?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Probably was him too, but it's just that's one of their big things is, you know, lions have their kittens in the summer. That's why Arizona doesn't have a summer lion season anymore. Well, lions have kittens year round.
Yeah.
You think a biologist with a PhD would know that, not some hillbilly that runs the heavy equipment for a living.
But let me ask you this, Jared. How many biologists are actually in the field doing what you, Chris, Brett, Casey, Benny, any of y'all have ever done? How many?
Oh, it
The ones
depends.
paid by the state, right?
Yeah. Nevada has some very good biologists, like the sheep biologist in Nevada. He would help me, he'd talk to me and be like, "Hey dude, our sheep are getting hammered." He'd tell me that stuff. And then Arizona's biologist, he's really proactive.
We have two large carnivore biologists now.
Mhm.
And then we have like the head, but they're the two are the ones doing the work. Now they're doing the work. I mean, every time we had a vehicle kill, we would have to call them, GPS mark it, and send them a pin, and they'd come pick the carcass up. Because here it's illegal to possess any part of a Louisiana black bear.
Yeah.
They may have changed that up since they decided to allow us to hunt them. But like, I know the guy that worked on the federal refuge for, I don't know, 20 years. We helped him a lot when I was volunteering and working for the refuge. Now, he was in the field every day, unless he had to do paperwork. But they were trying to establish the population then and to make it to where it branched out from, the northern half of the state to the southern half of the state. And that was the main goal of reestablishing the black bear in Louisiana. Well, that's been done for 20 years. They didn't want to admit it, so they come up with this jargon number of 1,000 bears is all we have in the state.
Yeah.
BS. We got 1,000 bears in 100 miles right here,
Yeah. See, that's where you guys are going to have to go to the commission's meeting with trail camera pictures and start pointing out all these different bears.
Oh, our commissioners they're already, most of them are landowners. No.
That's good.
They've been pushing it for 10 years trying to get a bear season. So
that's good.
What do y'all think about a minimum non-resident license for houndsmen?
Like money wise?
I think Idaho's the only one that charges for a out-of-state houndsman license.
Well, yeah, we don't. So
Y'all
you
don't.
just have to buy an out-of-state hunting license and an out-of-state
tag.
Tag, and I think out-of-state, you should come in and be able to kill a bear. But I think as a guide out-of-state, you should limit.
Hey,
I know Jared's gonna get on me, but for bear, I'm talking about bear. Lion is different.
Don't be hate. Well, I already told you what you need to do for guides is, since you guys do have such a small female quota, and do it for hunters too. Hold everyone accountable since you guys have female quotas.
Mm-hmm.
If you shoot a sow or you guide on a sow, you do not hunt bears the next year.
Exactly.
That's what I was going to, like a limit of, you don't come in and whack a bunch of sows and leave, and that's the problem.
Do it to residents too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have never seen more people shoot 1,000 yards until I came down and coos deer hunted in southern Arizona.
Oh yeah, that's all long range down there.
Yeah, I mean,
it has to be.
But I also don't. I kind of got my ass reamed for shooting a sow this year, and the guy was kind of like, "Hey man, practice what you preach. Basically, you can't be a hypocrite." And I said, man, out of hundreds of bears I've treated, I've killed 10 bears, 11 bears. 4 of them were sows. 4. Since 2010, when I started running bears with my dog. So in 15 years, I killed 11 bears, 4 sows, and I'm the problem? I'm not the problem.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not out, obviously I'm not out to kill. And most I killed were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 were for my family.
Yeah.
I'm the worst guide ever. I don't even think I'm gonna renew my guide license this year. I don't, you know, but I'm not the problem. You know, and I did tell that guy, I said, well, actually on the show before this week, I did say I'm gonna shut the unit down. So I don't say, yeah.
But is he talking about like how much Idaho should charge for non-resident houndsmen?
Let me see. Let me see. You mean
It
limited out
wasn't
of
much when I looked at
limiting?
it.
What is it?
I said it wasn't much when I looked at it.
Idaho's like 700 right now.
It's
And
300
it's
to
a
come
drop.
kill a bear in Arizona. It's
Yeah,
three.
but no, Idaho is what he's talking about. He's from Idaho, right?
Well, yeah, because they have. I think you have to have a hound permit there, right?
And it's
Yeah,
a
you
drop.
got
Like,
a non-resident hound hunting permit.
Yeah,
I
in Idaho.
think that's just a money generator because what does it matter if you're killing a bear? You're killing a bear. You know what I mean? It's not
Exactly.
like
But why can't the state make money? You know?
Well, that's what.
pay,
Where does it go? That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to make money off conservation.
I'd pay $500 for a summer season, pursuit season.
I'd pay $500 for a permit tag for a pursuit tag for bear.
It was
for
cheaper
year-round
for
chase.
me. It was cheaper for me to buy 2 out-of-state hunting license, 2 line tags, and a bear tag than it was to go to Mississippi and hunt turkeys.
Yep.
I'm talking about hound permit. Idaho only is $70 a year. That's a lot of hound permits. Only? I don't know. To me, that's I'm one of them guys that I don't like people in my area. Can I stop them? No. Do I say you guys are a bunch of idiots? Well, yeah, I do sometimes, but I know public land is public land, but 70? Man, that's a lot of hound hunters in one area. You're talking about 70 guys that probably have
That's
5,
the whole
6.
state. That's the whole state of Idaho.
Well, I'm just saying they don't just scatter over the whole state.
Well,
they don't go to the northern state, that's for sure.
And that's just non-resident, but that's 70 outsiders hunting your area.
Well, that's just like right here where I'm at. I've got a 100,000 acre national wildlife refuge and a 19,000 acre state management area that open up at the same time for a month in January and February. And there's like 4 of us in this area that hunt. But I mean, heck, we don't see that many people as we used to, you know. But
yeah,
we had that $100,000 hunt used to be right here on this 19,000 acre tract, and the state decided. So the club pays for a annual use permit to have the actual hunts, and it covers everybody in the hunt. The state decided, well, oh, y'all are making $100,000, da 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 da. We're going to make y'all pay for the annual use permit. Each person has to have it, and they actually did do like a 5-day instead of the full year, which the full year is $15. It's not really like it's god awful expensive, but it is an annual use permit, whereas the club actually pays $250 for the permit. So they're taking money from 3 different communities because you'll have 64 dogs, so that's 64 handlers plus whoever they bring, and you're taking about $20,000 out of 3 communities over $250. So what it averaged up to, and that was the state. Mostly Mr. Green Jeans was the ones fussing.
Yeah, I gotta pay the Forest Service 3% of my gross income every year.
Well, I thought it was like 6. It's 3.
I think it's 3%. Maybe it is 6. My wife does that Texas shit and
Oh, that drives
forest
me
differently.
crazy too. The forestry.
But you know, I got to pay the Forest Service to use their roads. Camp on
And
'em.
and the insurance, which is over $1,000 a year.
Fucking ridiculous. Yeah, my
Mhm.
insurance just went up for guiding this year, $400.
What are you up to now? Like $1,400?
Yeah.
Damn.
My amount of days haven't changed. My clientele hasn't changed. Nothing's changed, and it still went up $400.
Well, see, that's like a lot of people won't let you hunt these private hunting clubs unless you have $1 million worth of insurance.
Yep.
I'm not paying that to hunt your place because you want some depredation done.
Yeah.
I think that's what my insurance policy is too, is $1 million.
Yeah.
Or they want you to buy a membership in the club.
Yeah.
And these clubs are ridiculous around here. I mean, it's like a $10,000 buy-in. Or no, it's $100,000 buy-in, $10,000 annual membership. And you got to have like a 3,000 square foot camp.
Jesus.
I was on this Mississippi River clubs, but I mean, when you can kill a 200-inch deer, pretty
Tim,
serious.
that's how it is in New Mexico too. In Arizona, y'all can guide with just a guide license. Here, you have to work for an outfitter and have a guide license. Yeah, and I think New Mexico, you have to work
Same
for
in
them
New
for
Mexico.
3 years or whatever it is, and
Yep. Nevada's the same way. Nevada, you have to have 3 years guiding, and then you can become your own master guide. But in Idaho, Nevada, Colorado, and I don't know about New Mexico, but the Forest Service only allows so many guides per mountain range.
yeah,
So, like, you could try to buy, just say, not this isn't really a mountain range, but tabletop mountain range. This old timer's been guiding in it for 50 years. He wants to get out of it now. He's gonna sell his Forest Service permit. The average rate of a Forest Service permit to guide on right now is about $250,000 to buy it.
that's just like cattle.
Yep.
That's just like ranchers. They sell them, their lease.
Yep. Which,
Wow.
Yeah. All about the greenbacks nowadays.
Yeah.
Everything's about the greenbacks, and it's just getting harder and harder. It's like, I kind of made this live about the dogs. How that it ain't cheap to keep a dog. Our ferocious, killing, mangy. It's just so easy to get out and go catch stuff. Dogs, you have.
Yep.
What did your dog just cost you?
Nothing.
Really?
Yep.
Is that because they're using the?
I don't know. I got the phone call saying she died in surgery, and I was out by Benson, and I was like, "Do you want me to turn around and come back, get the dog, or do you want me to turn around, come back and pay, get the dog? What do you want me to do?" And she's like, "You don't owe me nothing."
You got a good vet there.
Well, I had to drive 2.5 hours to get there, but she's been dealing with hounds for a long time.
She loves dealing with him.
Yep. So, no, my dog, she had a blunt force trauma to the lungs and had a collapsed lung. And
not a recent one either.
Not a recent one. It happened a while ago. Her lungs, her heart had scar tissue.
You didn't even know about it.
No, I mean, when you get done catching a lion in the heat, like the last lion she caught was in May last year. It was 90-some degrees when we caught it. So, yeah, the next day the dogs are going to be laid up, sleeping all day. Dogs are going to act tired and sore for a while because of the heat knocks it out of them. But she didn't miss a meal for 4 months. And I've been hunting her since lion opener. So, it either happened last May when we caught that lion on the ledge, or this year when I caught that lion and I didn't get to see it because I had to go handle that lady.
The private ranch one?
Yeah, the private rancher. So I was hunting on this
She was
private
call-
ranch.
She was calling game warden on your ass.
Yeah. So I'm hunting on this private ranch, and mind you, I got to get through some locked gates to get back on this private ranch. And we get on this lion, and the dogs get the lion jumped, and they're going down the canyon, and I hear this lady going over. Like, the lion did a big old circle by my truck. It was a female. She did a giant circle, and I end up looking almost straight back down on top of the ridge, looking down at my truck. And there's this lady walking by my truck, and I'm like, what the shit is she doing back here? And all of a sudden she starts yelling at me. I have a picture of your driver's license and your dogs. I'm calling the game warden. And now I'm like, what the shit? So I haul ass down to the truck to try to talk to her, and she skedaddled. So I get to the truck and I look at my handheld. All my dogs are marking treed. And I'm like, I got to go deal with this lady real quick. So I drive to the ranch headquarters house and I run into the lady, and she apologized to me. She's like, I called the rancher, told him you were trespassing this and that. And I told them your description of your truck, and they said they said, no, I can be out there whenever I want. I can do whatever I want out on their place. You know, she's like, I thought you were trespassing. It's all my fault. And I was like, no, it's okay. And I went back hauling ass. I went and jumped back in my truck, and I hauled ass to get to the dogs, and they were still marking treed. But by the time I got down to the dogs and got to them again, they moved. And this time they're all sitting on water, and it's about 100 degrees. So maybe that dog went off a ledge too on that hunt. That was the beginning of the year this year.
But she ran. She still, you thought she was full of seeds.
Yeah, I thought she was full of seeds from foxtails or something in her lungs, because that'll happen quite a bit down here.
How old was that dog, Jared?
2.5.
Just getting started good.
Oh, tell you
That
what,
hurts you.
I got videos. That dog was treeing at 6 months and rubbing her nose cherry red at a year old and picking up loses at a 1.5 years old. She was probably gonna be, I don't know if she's
Well, it ain't gonna happen to
successful.
one that's a late bloomer and
No.
not exactly what you want.
No, it ain't. It's always gonna be the ones you're like, man, if I can get this dog to 5 or 6, I'm gonna have something. No, and she was a good dog. I've only caught her trashing on deer a couple times, but yeah, she was making trees at 5, 6 months old, and then at a year old, her second lion season at year and a half old, she was rubbing her nose red, trailing, licking rocks. But I'm gonna go get two more puppies from the same bloodline here next week. So
What are they?
they're crossed between Jared Nichols stuff and Sam Derringer's.
Man, got plenty money right there, Chris. Plenty money.
Me?
Yeah, you.
I ain't got shit for money.
Trading and swapping, bartering.
No, it was crazy that dog was going to the vet, and the guy that I got that dog from hit me up and said, hey, I got a litter of puppies that just hit the ground. Do you want some?
Man, I gotta call him. I need some outside blood, man.
Well, what color do you want? I got all of them. I tell you what, them black and tans I have, you can beat the crap out of. Like, you can hunt them like rented mules, and they keep going.
I don't know if I'm gonna end up getting a black and tan or not. Yeah, I won't call my uncle back.
You got the whole litter? You got the whole litter, Jared?
No, I'm only taking 2.
Yeah, my dad's looking for a pup too.
You know,
His dogs are getting old. He caught some bear this week, so last few weeks, so he's amped up again.
you gotta have, like, you know, I got a pretty young pack of dogs right now. My 2 oldest dogs are only 7, and then I got a 4-year-old, and then a 2-year-old, a 1.5 old, and then 2 puppies, 2-year-old puppies that just started hunting. If you don't have a constant rotation of young dogs coming in,
That's
like,
fact.
if you don't get puppies for 2-3 years, you're behind the game. Because, you know, you always have an accident like happens, like what Tim's his name, right? From Idaho.
Yeah.
You know, dog gets swatted by a bear, you know, and they take pain like no other.
Especially the
hounds
hounds.
are tough.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You don't want a cur dog, though. You do not. They do not take pain.
I know. I
They're
got a
tough.
sweetheart.
They're
for a
gritty.
cur.
They're tough and gritty. I'm not knocking them, but the one I got and this mutt, they act just alike. You take them to the vet, and they're just idiots. I have to dope them up, muzzle them, hold them down because whatever they give them ain't enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, tranquilize this sapsucker. I will hold him while you stick him. But I mean, it's like it's just like taking 2 Tasmanian devils to the vet.
Yep.
And try to give them the pills they give you, man. It's like you just gotta cram them down their throat, hold them until they swallow, dump a gallon of water down them. It's a nightmare. These hounds, man, I love them, you know, and they've always been that way. I had a buddy the only black and tan I've ever been around that was worth a grain of salt. No offense, Jerry.
No, you're fine. I've only found one good line so far. The one that I got.
Just swole up big on the side of his head by what we assumed was a rattlesnake, and he didn't die. And my buddy's like, he calls me frantic. I said, well, I'll be down there in a minute. And so I come down there with, you know, syringe of this and a syringe of that. I walk up. Normally, I would walk up pull up the driveway and be like, Killer, go find me a coon. And he'd go out there to be treed by the time I got finished visiting. And anyway, I walk up and, you know, hit him in both hips and walk in the house and, all right, let's go out and give him a shot. I'm like, what are you talking about? I done gave him a shot. He's like, what? We can't even take him to the vet. He eats the vet up. I was like, Killer loves me. I don't know what you're talking about. That's how he got his name. He bit every vet they took him to.
Oh, man.
And so they called him Killer. And he was a little puppy when he was doing all this. But he was a pretty nice little hound.
What do you give your dogs? Do you give them Drex for snake bites?
Yeah, Dex and either penicillin or LA200, Benadryl.
That's all I give my dogs is Benadryl.
Well,
and I make sure they don't lay down. We go and keep moving once they get bit.
The only time I've got to worry about like a copperhead or a cottonmouth bite is in the heat. You know, if they're running and they're hot and they get bit, you know, you've got a chance of killing one with a snake bite, no matter what kind of snake it is. But normally, copperheads and cottonmouths, you don't have to worry about them killing them. They'll swell them up and rot them out, but they're not generally that bad of a bite. A rattlesnake, if they survive 30 minutes, they got a good chance of making it. But after, you know, if one goes down, he's dead. You just about can't get him 2 Dex or Benadryl or nothing.
Yeah. Well, it seems like every time I get a dog snake bit, I'm like 3 hours, 4 hours from the truck. So all I have is Benadryl in my pack.
Yeah. Well, I keep Benadryl pretty handy, and I got a bottle of Dex.
Yeah, keep that cool though, don't you?
No, not Dex.
No.
Or at least I don't.
But no, that book, The Brave, with Steve Mathis, he talks about dogs getting rattlesnake bit. He says, don't let them sit down. You just keep working them. And so far, so good for me.
I've never lost a dog. I never just made them. I never ran them or nothing or walked them, but you know, I've had labs bit in the head and I've had dogs bit, but I hardly did anything for Benadryl.
From what my vet says, head and legs, that's the best bites to have.
Yep.
You know, if they get bit in the body, that's a little worse.
My
That's
buddy,
where all the arteries, that's where all the blood's at. You know, the extremities is not so much, you know, but, you know, they say 75% of the time it's a dry bite. So you're not getting a whole lot of venom in there.
Yep.
And I've only had 2 rot out.
My buddy had a dog kind of rot out, got bit in the armpit, and he was cutting flesh off that dog for months.
I've got a Brittany, and I was going to bring him, but he's ancient. And so I decided, since my Gyps were at home, I'll just leave him at the house too, because he's an instigator, and my cur and his mutt, they don't get along with him. And even though the cur lives with him. But he got bit twice within a week. Once on either side of the head. And he just swole up his head like a basketball. Poor dog. He is like the magnet for snake bites. I think he's been bit 6 times.
Oh, man.
He's just a magnet for them. And I think he tries to kill them, and I think that's his problem. Because he's a deadgum gritty dog.
Doesn't like to lose.
No, he'll take, you know, if these dogs get a bone or something, he'll take it or try to take it from them. He was raised with a 100-pound red bone, and that was mean over food. And that Brittany would go in there and start eating, and that red bone would just, if he didn't eat first, he was going to whoop whatever was there.
Yep.
And I'm going to talk bad about myself, but I was there feeding him one night, and he jumped on that Brittany, and I just heard bones crunching, so I went there and broke it up with an axe handle. And, of course, you couldn't kill that red bone for nothing. And I'm telling you. And anyway, I got them separated. You know, old dog's head swole up. I mean, he is just accident prone. And he has cost me gobs of money. But the red bone, I'm telling you, he got ran over. It didn't hurt him, didn't faze him. He stayed gone for like 2 weeks, and I finally found him. He was run over that time and didn't hurt him. He killed like 30 cats in that period. People started sending me hate mail and cussing me every time I'd pull up asking about the dog. And I'm like, well, he ain't mine, he's my kid's. But anyway. He was a good dog, but he was a nuisance. Matter of fact, he was the first hound I ever had to tree a bear.
Yeah.
And got me and my cur dog eat up. I had a little mountain cur Gyp that would normally do the treeing, and the red bone would do the fighting. But he treated a sow, a big old sow with 2 yearling cubs, and it was not fun to be around that tree. And I literally had a buddy of mine with me and his wife, and I'm like, look, every time I'd walk up to the tree, the bear would come down, and it was fixing to be ugly. I said, look, you take that 22 and you just shoot that tree. Keep that bear in that tree till I can get these 2 dogs. I said, I'm going to leave the red bone, but I'm going to get this cur dog. She's worth more than red bone. But we finally got the dogs back. Nobody got hurt. And the bears got to go on about their business. So I was like, That's the only time I've ever been almost eat up
Yep.
or even worried about getting eat up.
I think the last one I had that I worried about. Well, now a stinker caused me some trouble. Little bear hit the ground. Stinker ran in on it, trying to kill it or something. And so I thought she was going to get ate up. But we had this big old sow. That was the first sow I ever misgendered. And it hit the ground. And that poor guy was a crack shot with a bow until you get him in a tree. And every archery guy I get, can you shoot that? Yeah. It don't matter. You put them on a 30-yard or, they'll pie plate it at 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You get them in a tree under a bear. And I tell you what, I see very few people that can make that shot, and man, he shot that bear. Bear came out of the tree after about a few arrows, and one of the dogs was being held. I don't remember if it was being held or it broke the lead, but it went after that bear, and that bear hugged that dog. And I grabbed that bowie knife. It was archery season, or I would have just shot the son of a bitch in the head. But I'm trying not to get the bear took away, and it wasn't my bear. I ran up, stabbed that bear with my bowie knife, and that old bear turned around, tried to grab me, and he let go of that dog, and he had that dog in his mouth. And the only thing that saved that dog is that I had two call. I had old school 220 and a DC 30, or the DC 30 and the Tritronic shot collar.
Oh,
so that bear grabbed that dog, bit his head or neck, and you can see where that molar bit that. It got stuck in his molars. Those collars got stuck in his back teeth, so he couldn't bite down hard enough before I got over there. And I went over there to stab him, and I reached up, and that old bear turned, tried to get me, and I turned around hoping someone would just shoot him or me or whatever if I'm getting eaten. And them sons of bitches ran up the damn hill. So that old theory of you don't have to be the fastest, you just don't have to be the slowest, and I was the slowest at that time. So, but that's the only time I had a real bad almost wreck with a dog. I've had a dog sliced. Old dog ran in, and that old bear swatted him, sliced his back up. We didn't even know it till later. It was a perfect man. It looked like a razor blade cut that dog.
Yeah.
Didn't bleed or nothing. Just cut him open and got that bear killed out and ground, and went to load that dog up, and there's a big old gash right by its spine.
You're like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
Those are always great to find when you're loading them up.
You know what you hear a lot of is right here in an armpit, or where they're running through and they get stuck, and no one's ever, you don't see it till later. But I was down in Tonto Basin when we was chasing a lion, big Tom, and Tom had went up to a bobcat track, and they had one of them little tweeters in it with the feathers, the ball, it's all tweet tweet like a nest or whatever. And that old lion went there, kind of stuck his head in there, I think, and then left, chased it up a hill, and then my dogs disappeared, and I couldn't hear them, but it's showing them treed, on the other side. And then I see a bunch of javelina tracks, and my dogs weren't broke off javelina back then. I just started to hunt down there, and so we go up over the ridge there, and they have they're in a bluff kind of, but it's in a cave. And man, I knew it too. I heard that chomping, those javelina, and it was being videoed for for the cancer hunt. And I had to be tough and be like, oh, let me crawl down in there. But man, I was shitting myself. I'm like, God damn, this thing comes out of there and I'm done. So I crawled down in there at cave, and man, it was a big old boar, big old teeth, just chomping, and crawled out of there. I seen blood everywhere, but I didn't know what it was, got out of there and got back. I seen the one dog monster. He had a little blood on him. We ended up walking all the way back to the truck and got back to the truck, and dogs were jumping in. Well, a dog jumped back out of my tailgate and landed on that dog that had a little blood on him, and that thing fauceted out right here in his neck. I'm like, what the hell? And I stuck my finger right in the hole. Like it was like in his jugular, I thought. I stuck my finger in a hole and like had to hold the collar with my finger in the hole, load the dogs up. I held there for a while and I let go and it quit bleeding, you know. So I let him right up front because I didn't want him to bump him in the back and
make it start up again.
Man, but he healed up, just had a hole right there, and I think it's where that and his collars were all messed up too. So I think those collars again save those dogs.
Them big old bricks like on the TT15s. They help out. I got a couple of them on the wall that have had his tooth sent through them.
Dandy's on his 327th comment. Well,
we
guys,
ain't welding anymore.
No, we're not welding anymore. We had our meeting for the A.W.D.A. last night, kind of non-formal, kind of what are we gonna do? That guy got on and helped us out a lot. So
he set us pretty straight.
I do have a website, and I just have one page on it right now, just with a form on it. And if you guys, anybody in Arizona or anywhere else that wants to join, just fill out that form with your email, phone number, and name, and leave a comment, and it'll put you on the list because I was at the CPAs today, and they got it transferred over from where I had it to the nonprofit, and then it's going to take probably a couple months to get the C3 going. So, and I will have a EIN number. So if anybody wants to, I'm not like Brett. I'm not afraid to ask for money because with your guys' money, we're going to go out there and try to make a difference. So
educate.
But I mean, just it's going to cost me $1,500 just to get the C3 going, basically.
Well, you know I'll join.
And then next week I'll go open a bank account once my EIN goes through and the paperwork. I expedited it, so that was another $70. So I have it in a couple days, so we can. So if anybody wants to donate some money, we don't know what we're using it for yet, but it'll be for something good. I want to get a hold of the guy that we talked to last night.
Rainy day fund.
What's that?
Yep.
Rainy day fund.
Well, that's what it is. And even if this 134 goes through, they'll still try to find a loophole.
Yeah, they're still going to try.
And, you know, my CPA is like, well, how much money are you looking at? Like 50,000? And I'm like, no, I'm like 500,000. He goes, no, 50,000. You know, you got to keep under a bracket in the first, you know, but I don't know. I want 500 members and $5 million, you know, just to sit there. And I want to pay someone to run around and educate. And I think that was our main goal is education. I don't want to have to fight for it, but I sure want to. We're going to have to, obviously. And
at some point.
I think we hooked up with the right guy last night.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said before, him knowing that those two antis are already in Arizona blew my mind.
Three employees in Arizona for ACES. They only have one. There's now 3. So there's something coming. So, and he was happy. He was happy. There's really no hound association in Arizona that's kind of big. There's a bunch of organizations, but I think we need someone to represent hounds 100%. This guy's in every organization known to man, so he's going to be real helpful. And I'm even going to try to get him on our board and include him in all of our meetings. But AZWDA.com is the website, and it just has one page, and it's just the front page, and it says fill this form out, and then we'll get you on a list. But if anybody wants to donate or knows somebody that will, we can take little ones, but I have to get that letter. What is that letter of intent or intention, whatever, from the IRS, so we can go after some of the bigger ones. But man, I really don't want to F around on it. No. I really want to
go big or go home, Chris.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'd really like to get into these schools and take a little hound puppy in there, and everybody loves the hound. I want that book. I'm going to look for that book and see if we can't order a bunch of them.
Walt Disney Cougar.
So I'll look it up. It's probably $300 book now on
or no
Amazon.
longer in production.
No, it still is.
No, but I bet you they have a digital copy you can, print out, read from on a Kindle or your, but
Yeah.
I kind of have big plans, and I'd like for a lot of people, all these houndsmen, no matter how bad you hate the next one. There's a couple houndsmen here I'd like to punch in the face. You know what I mean? In Arizona, but
Oh yeah. Not all of us are gonna get along with each other.
we don't have to hold hands. I don't care what you do. Just, and if I think if people want to keep hound hunting, they're going to have to pay for it. Honestly.
Absolutely. I mean, eventually, you're just going to have to pay to play. That's just.
That's a fact.
No, that's
anything
the honor. That
nowadays.
Yep.
The country club of hound hunting.
Yep.
And it's going to come every 2-3 years like it always does. And the longer they take, the more money we'll have, and the more pamphlets we print out, and the more we educate. Yep. That's the plan. That's me and Jared's plan. We have a couple of guys that jumped on. Ryan Ingram. Justin jumped on, but I think we lost service. He was driving. I keep trying to drag Justin into it, so sooner or later. But he's off the coldstrikegear.com. He does all that stuff.
He's a busy guy.
And if anybody wants to join up or help us out or tell us what we're stupid or what we need to do or not need to do, just go fill out that, and on the comments maybe say, hey, I want to be involved, and then we'll just throw you on the meetings.
Yep.
So
thank you.
That's all I got to say.
Oh, absolutely.
AZWDA.com, Arizona Working Dog Alliance. We're going to work with I think that guy last night, we're going to work with a lot of people because of him.
We need bird dog guys. We need bird dog
guys. That was my goal today. So, yeah, bird dog guy. Yeah, and they're going to come after everything,
Well, they will. I mean, it's just.
That's unfair chase, right?
They're not going to come. They're not going to come after the bird dog guys of saying, we're going to take away quail and pheasant hunting. They're going to come through the bird dog guys saying, hey, you have too many dogs.
Unfair chase.
You have too many dogs, in your kennels, or why are you having a litter of pups every year?
Mm-hmm.
Or why are you and your buddies getting together and training dogs together?
You need Labradoodle people.
Yeah, they're trying to make they're death by 1,000 cuts. They're trying to make everyone be so urban. Is that the word I'm looking for? A cityite. They're trying to make everyone such a cityite and conform to being the city life. Because on paper, to the average person, no human being needs 10 dogs.
Why not? That's my answer to that question.
Well, no one needs 10 dogs if I'm just feeding them and they ain't working.
Why not?
That goes back to what are we going to do with the dogs now? Like, who's protecting the hounds? What, is there a way to come after, is there a way to do the law or something that says you can't make a dog not hunt?
Well, I want to be like Chris. I want 7 or 8 kids. Those are my 7 or 8 kids.
Yep. But you gotta convince other people that, not people that already have dogs. You got to look at it from the outside looking in.
Well, if the dogs are so human being and they should be they're mistreated, then why can't I get a social security number for them, claim them as a dependent?
Right.
If that's the case,
and put them on welfare. Why can't I put them on welfare?
Mm-hmm. No, I 100% agree. I grew up, like my old man, he still thinks I have too many dogs. And I've been in dogs for, since I was a kid. I've grown up with 2-3 dogs in the house since I was a kid. But my old man, he don't get it. He's just a bird dog guy. He's just a hobbyist when it comes to waterfowl duck hunting. You're not going to overwork a lab retrieving ducks.
No, it's not hot. It's a cold time of year. You're not doing it in the summer. I dove hunt in the summer. I dove hunt in the summer.
But
I'm done by 8 o'clock.
It's not like a hound or one of these, pointers around in the mountains pointing quail or chucker, putting 6-7 miles on their legs a day.
Mm-hmm.
You do that to the same dog 3-4 days in a row, you're not going to get very many years out of them.
Mm.
That's why you got to have 7, 8, 10 dogs, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Or who did?
Especially in y'all's country.
Yeah, you know, or that government lion hunter in West Texas. He had 30 dogs and 4 mules just for himself, just to save his animals because they needed rest.
Well,
When I was a kid, we had 30 beagles and 15 coonhounds. And
Yep.
Daddy had 11 horses and 6 cows.
Yep. You know, but you used them every day.
You can't hunt that many coon dogs at one time.
Well, not
Now,
well.
beagles, we turned every one of them loose. It was a fiasco. It was a
yeah, but
I
those,
was
every
it
two,
was
three
a
beagles
show.
equal one.
It was like going to the Ringling Brothers Circus and, you know, seeing what happened, you know. We had some that run deer and some that run rabbits. But
Yep.
That's a fact. Start a rescue. Start a rescue.
no, this was, my daddy bought me 2 and we ended up with 30. Because I'm like, Daddy, I need more dogs. He's like, all right. He wouldn't tell me nothing.
Hey, Jared, did you say who the author of that book was?
It's
Disney.
just Walt Disney Cougar Animal Adventure.
There's no
Rutherford Montgomery.
Ruther. Here, let me make her big. Rutherford Montgomery. Rutherford Montgomery. There you go, Missy Fix.
But they don't just, in this book, they don't just say you got to kill every mountain lion. They also say, like, you got to respect the lions and everything, but they need to be hunted and they need to be managed. That's the cool part about this book.
We need.
Why is my face the only one up here?
Because you're blown up.
You're right. Bow hunters cannot shoot them. I was missing a bunch of these. Well, I guess I should make it. Well, guys.
Well, that's because they're not breaking at the waist. They're breaking at the wrist and their shoulders when they're shooting their bow. When you shoot a bow, you break at your wrist or your waist. Because this is all has to be an anchor point. You can't move any of this. When all of a sudden you break your arm and go up like that, or your wrist, or however it works, it doesn't work.
Go get him.
I hate taking like everyone wants to go lion hunting with their bow, you know, the die-hard bow hunters. And I'm like, dude, you're shooting it from 20 feet with a rifle or a bow. It don't matter.
Yeah.
You can walk up and shoot.
Every bow hunter I encounter, I say, you're probably gonna miss it. You're probably gonna miss it. Nah, shoot a pie plate 100 yards. I said, all right, sure shit.
You know, I tell every bow hunter, yeah, you can carry that bow, but if we catch that lion on the bluff, you're not using your bow. I'm not gonna watch my dogs get stabbed by an arrow that's stuck halfway outside the lion.
Chris, one last question. You keep the live action open after we all leave so Dandy can keep posting. Just leave it open. I'll put this on loop. I'll put it on loop. So it just keeps playing. Chris, you can't handle it. I just ignore it. You know, when I was a bail enforcement officer, we owned a bail bond, so I dealt with a lot of people in my life. So I have very, very thick skin. Very thick skin. I'll make people cry. So, but
you out coon hunting right now or what?
He's always doing something.
Do what? Do what?
You out coon hunting right now?
Awesome. I'm in my yard. Just stuff
that
comes
is
up
one
in my
thing.
yard.
That is one thing I wish we could do is just take the hounds out whenever we wanted to.
But you can't handle the shit. Hey, Jared, do you think I can handle this guy shit?
We can run just like anything else.
Love you, bro, but you can't handle the shit. Sorry,
Hey, come here,
pal.
idiot.
Dude, he
Make you
can
cry.
post for hundreds of hours. I will say that. I can't
No,
hang with him.
No, we're
I'll
not
get
denying that. I tell you what, though, you come hang out with me, I'll make you cry like a baby. I got a special jar of meat for those kind of guys.
That's right.
That's the kind that don't go. Well, I better get in the house. You know, I'm a husband.
There you go.
Next week, I got to write stuff down because I had a good topic for next week, but I already forgot it. You guys have any?
Ariel just saying you're a sugar. Ariel just saying you're a sugar daddy.
Oh, that's all I am there. I'm a constant visit kind of guy. So if you guys got any ideas for a show or know anybody that wants to come on and tell some stories too, just give me where's my anecdote of a houndsman at outlook.com. Send me an email or a message on Facebook. I'm not hard to find, except for Dandy. He can't find me, I guess. So, kind of shit happens around here.
Barking at my cat. Shut up.
Maybe we'll just stay on and watch him.
Right?
In his yard.
Take us coon hunting. I want to go.
Man,
Come on.
you know, Arizona don't have coons. We have a few here and there, but I get pictures from my Oklahoma friend, and they got a feeder there, and there's like 30 coons on that feeder.
I ain't tough enough to coon hunt. I hate being wet.
Why?
Because I hate being wet.
Hell, we're in a drought. We ain't got no water.
His drought is our drought is way different than his drought.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, you know that
Your
dye
guys'
base y'all
drought
got
is
in
you
the
have to
road?
water the lawn.
We're watering the lawn.
Yeah. Even with our non-droughts, we're watering our lawns.
We are too. It gets dry here. I'm in the northern half of the state. I'm not down there in the swamps. We've
Okay.
got some wet spots. Like in the wintertime, yeah, you probably don't want to come down here. But in the summertime, all you got to do is fight rattlesnakes, copperheads and cottonmouths and alligators.
Well, we're getting into the season where all of ours are starting to
Go to bed.
hole. Yep.
I think I killed my last rattlesnake 2 weeks ago. So
Don't say that yet. Don't jinx it.
I did it.
So, Jeremy, I appreciate you coming on again.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Jared, you have to come on.
Yep.
So, but I guess I'm ready to go. You guys ready to go? You got anything to say? Any last words?
Go blow up mountain lion sightings. Keep proving those people wrong.
Mountain Lion Sightings on Facebook.
Help support
Repost, sharing is education. There's stuff that guy told us last night I had no clue about. So, and there's just thousands of subjects. Oh, like Amendment 2 in Florida. Did you guys know about that?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Right
about
to
it.
hunt.
You said
Right
that
to
to me.
hunt this year in Florida.
So hopefully that passes. Every state should have the right to hunt. Every state, every dollar, cent, minute spent, share should be about a right to hunt state. So these anti-hunting pukes that think that we should just believe everything they do. I swear, if they ever get rid of that, I'm going in Arizona for a proposition that ends all pest control in the house.
Yep.
Every bit of it. It's cruel. It shouldn't be done. They were here first, and if we have to deal with mountain lions and all that, then they have to deal with the insects and the mice and the snakes. Make it illegal to kill anything.
Yep.
Well, what you got to do is go after stuff they care about.
What's that? Blue hair and coffee?
Yeah, shut down Starbucks.
Anti blue hair and coffee. You know, I'll start.
Well, why don't you make it? Well, why don't you make it? The gangbangers or the motorcycle clubs you know this better than I do, Jeremy. You know, they're listed as gangs, even though they're a club. So what makes all blue hair people not a gang or part of Antifa or, you know what I mean? You're judging. So I don't know. That's a whole nother 2-hour subject. Maybe we'll talk about hound gangs next. Maybe we'll start. Yeah. Jeremy, how far south of Arkansas are you?
I am about 60 miles south of Arkansas.
You're coming on next week, Eric. I'll send you a link. I know who you are now. I busted into his camp. Was like, who the is this Utah guy? In my country, in my unit.
Well, there was a Louisiana guy up there in your unit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gonna be fun next year, guys.
All you had to do was eat sushi that day. You didn't have to actually hunt.
No. All righty.
All right. Talk
Till
to you
next
guys
week.
later.
All
Next
right.
week.
See y'all.
Next week.
See ya.
All right, guys. For you on the podcast, if you want to listen to this, you're going to go to YouTube, Anecdote of a Houndsman, and check out the lives. Our last week's show is going to be on W tomorrow. I might just get this one downloaded. I don't know. I might take an interview stories and tales one from Monday Night Live and give it to W for next week. If you guys want to listen to a lot of these shows, I'm catching up. So there's going to be some older ones coming on. Just look up either Freecasting on Spotify, any of those. I have a bunch of them, but Spotify and Apple Podcast. Look up the Chris Watson Project or Freecasting, and they'll pull up. I put everything on the Chris Watson Project. So when I start doing my PI stuff, those will be on there too. Other than that, thanks everybody for coming. And if you have any ideas or people want to be on a show, Anecdote of a Houndsman at outlook.com. Other than that, stay safe out there and don't forget to keep your powder dry, guys.